Welcome to Dynaground! Hello, my name is Owen and I'm your professional Dyna rider. Today I'll be teaching you how to ride a dinosaur and win that chicken dinner. Now, let's begin! Relax, don't be scared. That's the sound of the mighty T-Rex. Now, here's the first dinosaur encounter. I want you to meet my girl Vicky, my sweet little raptor. Look how cute she is.
Isn't she lovely?
Vicky or raptors, they're the most vicious and fastest beasts in the world. To ride a dinosaur, first you must build trust. They are carnivores. They eat meat. You have to feed them off. They will think that you are their friend, not food. Once they trust you, they will be a great companion. However, taming a dinosaur can be seen. Experience dinosaur taming and riding the all-new version of Pubg Mobile Dynaground. Explore Dino Settlement and Wild Reserve and embark on a prehistoric adventure in the Battle Royale game. Come and play now.
Welcome back once again, ladies and gentlemen. We are back at Ruthless Esports and this is Ruthless Presents Europe Invitational. Well, if we talk about the aggression, it was amazing. But right now, this is the last and final day of the last phase of this particular Europe Invitational. The thing is, phase number 2 is actually going on quite smoothly. I guess if we talk about teams like MADBULLS, if we talk about teams like REGNUM, CARYA, or even Major Spite, they are actually putting up a lot of show. On the other corner, if we talk about teams like GAIMIN, GLADIATORS, they are struggling quite a bit. We'll talk about all of those stuffs, but first of all, let me introduce all of us at this point. My name is Rita. Along with me, it's Upcon on desk, and yes, at the back end, we do have the whole team of Ruthless Esports presenting you this amazing IP, and also the production partners are there. So yeah, moving forward, I believe, I guess this is the last final day. 5 more matches to go, and then eventually we'll get to know who are the top 3 teams and also who is the MVP. So Upcon, what's your prediction? What your pick, and what are you expecting today?
Oh man, I'm expecting tremendous entertainment nonetheless. Today is going to be the final day. All the teams from EMEA, all the teams from Turkish, French, everyone are going to be competing up against each other for one final day. It's going to be a matter of 5 maps, and soon we'll be taking a look at the points table, and also we'll be taking a look if we have any surprises for our fans, for the audience. Yesterday we had an edition of a Shanok, which was completely tremendous, and what a magic indeed. And at the same time, I believe Team MADBULLS, what a comeback also they indeed showed us. So talking about the points for now, it's going to be none other than chicken dinner getting you the 10 points. Coming at the second place will grab you 6, third place will grab you 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 as your ranking incline, but only till 8th position you get a point, because after that it's no points for you. If you get eliminated anywhere between 9th to 20th position, 1 point for each kill you get. So this entirely shows that how kill based the entire game could completely get. But now let's also take a look at the other scenes too, because I believe eventually yesterday we had what do we say, 1 Erangel, Shanok, 3 Miramar, but today is going to be somewhat interesting. But taking a look after the tournament info, it's 7 June, it's the final day of the phase 2. Team REGNUM, CARYA, can they defend their title is going to be a big question, but $1,000 of prize pool being dedicated to each one of these phases. The number 1 team who comes out at the #1 will grab that $500 prize pool. Second place will get 250, and third place with 150. But take a look after MVP as well. I think there are so many players, no matter if their individual performance are at the top or no, individually, many teams even not coming up at the top 5, they have these individual players who are in the run for the MVP. Not to mention, you have Frozen from 2 team, next RUYA, and also from the side of team Major Pride. Then we have none other than Nomi from the side of Major Pride. So I think, there are many such teams. But yeah, taking a look after the team itself, it's gonna be the very 4 teams. First, we are gonna be taking a look after Team 40 Sports, who completely had a good start but not looking that promising. Let's see how the third day comes out for them. Team RUTHLESS Esports as well, which will be the Turkish stars alongside Team RUYA and FLUX Esports.
Things like that are actually quite crucial. Like the start was quite good, as you said, for FUT Esports, but it does seem like at this point they have lost their momentum, and eventually quite a few teams like REGNUM, CARYA, or eventually MELISE Esports are looking good when it comes to the competition. BESIKTAS Esports on the other corner are also trying to chase and also trying to change a lot of things at this point. If we talk about BRA Esports, no, they are not looking good. They are trying to be consistent, but not at a very right place, to be honest. MELISE Esports, if I talk about them, we have CEO, Hugh, Poser, and Lewis. All these guys are trying their best to put up a show at this point, but eventually the point system is not letting them do that. At this point, if we talk about gaming gladiators, then again, this team is stuck at the bottom. But still, I believe in the last few matches, they were able to rake some serious points, so maybe they're actually going to give some harsh comeback at this point. Now, this is all about, I guess, gaining some decent positions in the favor, getting 1 or 2 chickeners, making their way to the hearts of the fan. But the thing is, being in the top 3 is pretty much out of the equation for a lot of teams at this point. On the hindsight, if I talk about Major Pride, I believe that is the team which was still the table topper after the day number 2 gets over, or phase number 2. SBG on the other corner also started off quite well, but they are losing the track at this point. Same goes for Excuse Me as well, because they were also unable to get any kind of, I guess, decent jump yesterday. MADBULLS on the other corner will be the team which is stuck at second position, I believe, along with the RR Esports pretty close to them. Sly Europe, again, a very good competition from the corner. Now they are trying to be in the table toppers list. They are in the top 6 type of position, which is good. NEXUS Gaming on the hindsight is also struggling a lot. They're trying to gain some serious points in the favor, although it's not looking that easy for them as well. So yeah, we do have a lot of contestment coming in from multiple teams. I'm looking forward to see how that result is going to be there. But yes, this was the squad roster. Now moving forward, let's talk about more and more details. I believe we are going to get the overall MVPs and stuff like that. So yes, let's talk about that. Major Prize Nomi is going to be the overall MVP with 26 amazing eliminations, damage of 5,724. If we talk about throwables used, that is 59, and 17 assists as well from his corner, which is again a very mesmerizing number. Now let's talk about more and more details. Like, we will get to know about the top 10 MVPs, and also after that, I guess overall fraggers will be coming in, then overall ranking will be coming in. So we do have a lot of things to talk about. So first of all, let's move on to the MVP rankings. As I said, Nomi is the one which is on top, but on the hindsight, we do have quite a few players from REGNUM, CARYA, like Loksha is there. We have Wild77k also stuck at the 2nd and 3rd position respectively. On the 4th position, we do have SBG's Victor with 25 amazing eliminations, and 5.29 is going to be the damage that he was able to dish out with 15.5 minutes of our average survival time for him. Major Spide's Effect is going to be the guy with the 5th position. REGNUM, CARYA, Strawn is also there. So yes, I believe out of all these 10 players, I guess REGNUM, CARYA, REGNUM's CARYA's player are actually one of those consistent players which are trying to be in the top 10 positions of the MVP table. But the thing is, at the top is Nomi at this point, and he's the one which might actually bag out the $100 as well.
Oh, surely. I think this should be a pretty, important day for these players. Nomi actually being the one with 5,724 damage. It's been like this is eventually, the second day. It's been like 10 maps so far. Perfect. I think Waller is also one of those star players to look out for. Furia. And I believe one more player, which is Frozen. We cannot just miss on to him. In the overall fraggle list, we might not be seeing him, but the individual performances which he has shown and the skill level of him, all the sprays and all of those, completely solo plays which he has shown us with this firepower, I think that is just a treat to watch out for. So I'm going to be really excited, and I'll be waited to see how the eventual scoreline turns out to be. But slowly, steadily with that, we'll be also taking a look after the entire ranking. With 117 points, it's a big, I'll say margin of 22 points of lead which Team Major Pride is having. Let's see how, consistent would it be for them? How much would they be able to just maintain it? It's going to be a pretty big question, because eventually this is going to be one final day. And this final day, there's a lot of, things to conclude. Team MADBULLS at the 2nd position. Then you have also the side of Team SBG. We have Team REGNUM, CRYA with 81 points. Team Excuse Me, Sly Europe, and ARR Esports alongside RUYA in the top 8 position. But one more thing is really interesting about these teams. like most of the time when you'll see the end circle, these teams do tend to, survive all the way till the end, which is just amazing, isn't it? Because normally you do expect like things could go a little bit around them, things could be a little dicey, but nonetheless, Team Oxford Esports, MELISE Esports, just as the ranking shows, it's like, really difficult scenario for them to make it up all the way towards the end circle. I think Team 40 Esports yesterday itself, they had like 30 to 32 points, but now they're down to 33 points. So yesterday was a big disaster for them indeed.
Oh yeah, I mean they had a lot of problems yesterday, but moving forward, I believe today is going to be the day where they might actually showcase some kind of talent, and eventually, I'm not expecting like a complete shift of the top 3 positions, but the thing is they can easily make their way in our hearts, perform like and get somewhere around 25-26 points in a single match, which is actually going to impress us a lot. But at this same moment, BESIKTAS Esports struggling. Gaming Gladiators is unable to get any kind of point, but let's see what is going to be the map picks at the current situation. We do have Erangel starting off the day, and eventually we have Miramar, then Erangel, then Miramar, and in order to sum up the day, we have a Sanok as well. So yeah, I guess the last match is going to be one hell of a match, to be honest, to watch out. I'm actually already rooting for that particular match, leaving behind the first 4 matches that are going to happen. But yes, let's see what is going to happen in that 4 matches. Erangel will be starting off the day. And I guess, yes, a lot of teams are waiting for this map to come in once again, because you do really build up momentum whenever you have this kind of map. So I really hope that Erangel is going to be one of those maps where quite a few teams are going to perform exceptionally well. Yesterday, if I'm not wrong, we missed FAT Esports and also Gaming Gladiators in quite a few matches, so that is why they were unable to give that kind of strong comeback. So the lobby is remaining like somewhere around to 14 teams and 56 players, which is again a decent thing. But then again, I guess it is good for Sanok, but it's not good for the map of Miramar, and also not good for the map of Erangel, because you do want a lot of competition. There is a reason why we usually say that the official amount of players is going to be 64, and we have 16 teams altogether. So yeah, I'm looking forward to see how these 16 teams and 64 players are going to perform eventually, if they are going to be there in the lobby. But yeah, if some teams are missing the show, I guess it's their loss, because they are obviously going to, I guess, not get the zest of this experience, because this kind of experience is not that easy to get, to be honest.
Oh, so well said. I think, this is like Europe action is so amazing to see all of these EMEA teams. The rotations which we have seen from this team, the meta of how they have been running around with a lot of shotgun actions. Then you have, I think, none other than, SMGs being used in the play. Mostly, you don't expect much of those marksman rifle, not even, those snipers. But now it's us and the prediction. I have a record that I have not yet got the single prediction right. Raider is doing pretty well in terms of numbers, so let's see. I'll get the first advantage to pick because I'm on 0. I might go with the side of the number 1 team, which is none other than Team MADBULLS. So I want to go with MADBULLS. You have Major Pride and for other teams to look out for. It's Erangel. What's going to be your prediction on that?
I guess it is Major Pride, if I'm not wrong, which is on top, because yesterday they actually were able to secure the last final chicken dinner. So yeah, it was good. So I guess for me, the prediction will be REGNUM CARYA. So let's go for them. Yeah. REGNUM CARYA is the one team I'm looking forward to it. But yeah, we have given our predictions, guys. Make sure to tell us your predictions on the comment box, and our monitors will be there to help you out, and we'll be also looking forward to it after the stream gets over, because obviously while the stream is going on, we are a bit more focused onto the matches and trying to give you the best out of this particular show that is happening. So yeah, 5 more matches to go, 5 more stories to tell, and eventually after that, this is Ruthless Europe Invitational is going to go down. Going to be done, and eventually we are going to look after our next IP coming in from Ruthless perspective. So I really believe that I guess you can easily have a lot of advantage from it, even if you are not an esports enthusiast, or maybe if you are just trying to step into this world, although it's a bit too late to be honest. But yeah, if you're trying to engage, you can easily get a lot of experience from your tier 1 teams that are here right now, be it REGNUM CARYA, be it Major Pride, MELISE Esports, every single team. Even if that particular team is unable to perform, remember the fact that they are fighting against the best of their own reason. But yeah, moving forward, the match has been started. Enough dead talk. Yeah, let's move on to the match. This is going to be the phase number 2, day number 3, match number 11. In just few seconds, the match is going to get started. The flight path will be coming in. Along with that, a lot of anticipating fights will be there.
Oh man, it's the second last Erangel of the entire tournament, and this is amazing from Team Ruthless once again. You have 2 like a Wrangle, you have two Miramar, and you have that final map of Shannock. That's the twisting turn, which is definitely going to put so many teams in a forcible situation. Let's see how the entire situation looks like. But for now, the plane path is right up on our screens. It's going to come all the way up from Zarki, ending up towards the Nova Repnoya. Meantime, as you can see, the plane path is pretty diagonal. It goes all the way towards the bottom side. Where our team is going to go is going to be a big question. Team SBG, Team Ballistics are going to be two of those teams who always manage to get themselves in some sort of fight. Then we have the Sara Team for Esports, who will entirely get the shelter region for no worries. Team Melis is also, I think, one of those promising ones. I love to see how, the fight in Fairy Pair also completely goes along. Team FLUX, let's see how their entire, scoreline is going to be after this one game. It's a pretty important one. Team Major Pride is also going to be dropping down very close towards Team for Esports, and we can already see the backlines. But taking a look after what Team FLUX is showing, not going all the way towards George Pool, and this is interesting. They're going towards the bottom position. When did this happen? Oh, okay, they are in the George Pool. I believe I just mistakenly, missed myself. But nonetheless, the fight has now started against the start of Team FLUX. Excuse me, is just a little away from the sides, but there comes the second knockout indeed. Team FLUX getting back-to-back 2 knockout, 1 indeed finished, and that's a squad elimination, I think. It's Team Excuse Me who completely get annihilated, and just within the George Pool region, it's indeed going to be a pretty clean path for Team FLUX as they survive with 3 of their players.
Well, there you go. Losses are coming in. 12 teams, 37 players. That's what we have at this point. And clearly see, S1907 is going to be the choice of weapon that this guy has got. I mean, this is not the choice of weapon. This is the only weapon this guy's got. And now he's going to get sliced open with the Moshite coming into the play. And I guess that BESIKTAS Esports is again going to have a very strong advantage. BESIKTAS and both SVG usually loves to drop in and eventually take a tussle in the Napoleon region, but in order to reach at that place, they had to actually fight back and get some good vehicles. But seems like that BESIKTAS Esports have already got it configured, and they are picking up the players at this point. And if we talk about Zexy, I guess he's going to get the close top US, with which he can easily rotate back. On the hindsight, we do have REGNUM CARYA also popping it out. Major Spend on the other corner might be actually in a very good trouble at this point, but look at REGNUM CARYA. They're also getting traded off. So yes, the trade fire is coming in. One good finish for the team, but how far will they be able to go? That's a big question coming in. It's a 1v2 from Wild 2K's perspective. I guess Wild is one of those players which you should not mess around with. But yes, REGNUM CARYA again off to a very good start. Indeed, after losing a lot of HPs, I guess the best part is that they are still surviving as a whole team, and I guess in turn they will be able to fight back even harsher, even better in a even better way in the later stages of the tournament.
Well, with that, I think a slow start indeed for the side of Team Excuse Me for this one day. Hopefully, they eventually happen to, bounce back pretty easily. But Team REGNUM CARYA, Water Rozok is where they'll be looting up. They have been a little compromised towards the loot. They have like a Micro Uzi and M4 to start things up, but there are a few crates lying around. I think Oxford Esports is pretty enjoying up, the entire military base in North. Now, I mean, imagine you having the entire island for yourself, 4 players having the entire loot. I mean, there are so many options for you when it comes to a place like military base. He just steps over a Car 98 just like that, having not even any concern or option to take it, and there goes another 8x. So that's all, everything just inside this one office warehouse building. Then you have observatory. Then you have none other than the factory in the backlands. And if that's not enough, caves are also one of those sweet spots. And if everything is not just enough, Norepnoya could just be a pretty interesting one. But now, slowly, steadily, as we move on, the zone is also going to start to shrink in. This is the first zone, where it's going to be all the way 1500 meters away from the players already, which indeed shows that how difficult it could be, because this covers entirely the Prismark Ferry Pair and, the Pochinki area. I think Team OZAROX Esports, even if they go just towards the western side of the Sosnovka Island, it won't be a big issue. But it's surprising to see that no team have contested in towards the Ferry Pair and the Prismark. I think, we're definitely missing on to the side of Team Next RUYA. But at the same time, the fight for SBG and Ballistas, so far, I think it has been started and Team SVG is down to only one single player. Kind of unfortunate one, but hopefully they do manage to, bounce back in the next coming up maps.
I mean, there is not a lot of room to actually make this kind of mistake, but eventually that's what they have to suffer with. The rotations are something I guess SVG and both MELISE Esports and teams like that are suffering with. But at the end, we do have a lot of fights coming in at this point. Let's see how that retaliation will be there. As we can see, SBG's Victor is going to be the only guy which is still surviving, and on the high side, we do have the full manpower coming from BESIKTAS. So yeah, they are looking comfortable. They are looking quite decent when it comes to their play as well. If we talk about the top three teams, we have Major Sprite, MADBULLS, and SBG as well. So yeah, SBG, if they lose, this is going to be a very big chunk of movement for REGNUM CARYA. And I guess REGNUM CARYA did have that kind of insight in their favor, and that is why they were able to shut down two good players from that same team, which is actually on the third position, which is known as the SBG. FLUX Esports, as you said, has already secured four amazing finishes, and they are off to a very good start. Let's see how far they will be able to establish that kind of dominance. Because yes, they have been known to be chaotic, but at the same time, they have been known to mess up and lose quite a few matches out of their hands. So yeah, both of the things are going to be hand in hand for the team. Gaming Gladiators on the other corner is again very interesting team trying to loot up the Georgie Pool Northwest area at this point. On the hindsight, we do have MELISE Sports once again trying to come up with the rotation so that they can have the major share of this particular lobby and get the right utils so that they can fight back in the later stages. I mean, it is really very crucial for both of these teams to just come up with some good angles. Because of the fact that they are already losing in the leaderboard, you can clearly see the positioning of MELISE, positioning of BESIKTAS, positioning of Gaming Gladiators, FUT Esports are not at all looking good.
Completely. I think this is a little tough spot for them indeed. And the zone, which has already started to close in, now it's going to be an interesting one. Team 4 Esports has to move all the way in. From the start of Milta, I think even Team Slee Europe are having a very decent start and taking a look after Team Mad Bulls. I think Mad Bull just beneath them, you have the start of Team Major Pride indeed. So yeah, I mean, this could be a pretty challenging one. Let's see how the entire end circles look like. Because I think the yesterday's second map of the fourth map of Erangel, which we had, the zone was pretty tricky one. And going up towards these open reaches, it really helps down the team if they have the center. Nonetheless, if they go on for these late rotation, it at the same time is a pretty tricky one. But with the same time, Team SBG foot barely makes it into the zone. All the teams slowly, steadily just rushing in, and let's see how now the entire scoreline is slowly, steadily going to come. Because however, the like RUTHLESS Esports, if you'll take a look after the side of Team Slee, they are coming in. They are coming in pretty close. But then again, we have the side of Team SBG, who is just down to one player, and with just one single player. Let's see how the complete scoreline looks like. Two back-to-back now coming in from Team REGNUM CARYA as they managed to take down two players from the side of Gaming Gladiators. But let's see if Team Gaming Gladiators could really come out and bounce back strong.
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important part. If you are able to bounce back, if you are able to just get the advantage back in your favor, that's the biggest thing at this point. REGNUM CARYA on the other corner is not at all leaving. Every single player that is there in their vicinity that is actually trying to rotate is getting punched up, and it seems like that with those mini 14 tap shots, I was really not thinking, like, I was not really expecting that this kind of pick is going to happen where Gaming Gladiators is going to just lose their SP, but it seems like that is exactly what is going to happen. The last player from Gaming Gladiators is just trying to run for his life at this point. He's running far away from REGNUM CARYA, but the other guy is already on the move. He's trying to trace him. He's trying to be a bit more close, and eventually there might be a chase coming in. But this is phase number 2, day number 3, and match number 11 already on the very good start at this point. There are a lot of teams which have got some decent points in their favor, but at the same time, there are a lot of teams which are losing a lot of HPs. We do have the close top Minardo coming in from REGNUM CARYA's perspective. Again, a very decent weapon when you actually rotate it in the land areas, but essentially when you fight on the ridges, at that point, I believe that is not a very favorable choice of vehicle to rotate with. SBG on the other one is on the brink of extinction. That's exactly what is going to happen with that. SBG has been taken down. Now, this is a clear and open invitation for the team known as REGNUM CARYA to climb back to the position. On the hindsight, a very good victory for BESIKTAS Esports as well, because there is I guess the biggest reason why BESIKTAS is still at the bottom is the fact that SVG was every now and then trying to shut them down and was able to actually set them down in the initial stages of the map of Yasna, is a map of Erangel in Yasna Poliana to be precise. But now moving forward, OZAROX Esports is pretty close to MELISE Esports, I believe, so there could be a fight between these two giants as well. Although, as per the zone, I guess there is going to be major rotations coming in at this point. Maybe Feripier is going to be the choice of place to rotate in, or it could be Gatka 6 houses, or it could be the Query region as well. So yeah, multiple angles are there where the teams are actually willing to rotate and really want to actually get the major share of the fight. But MELISE Esports Power tried his level best to get the angle, but eventually gets backstabbed from multiple angles, and with that, the knockout is going to come in. And I really believe that there is no such backup going to come in, because this time, I guess the major call out that was there from MELISE Esports' perspective was just rotate back in the circle. We'll see that particular team later in the matches. Rather than fighting outside the circle, they wanted to have the control of the game, but it seems like that they've already lost one good player, and also they're not yet in the circle because FUT Esports is pretty close to the Primos region and they might be able to shut them down.
Completely gonna agree with you on that. But now with that, I think slowly, steadily, the zone is going to matter a lot, right? Because I think Slee Europe is going to be struggling. They have to give up on that one player whom they have already seen fallen. So let's see how the situation now kind of looks like. Because slowly, steadily, as we move on, the rotations are coming in. Team Slee Europe are going to go in pretty aggressively. Let's see how they manage to keep things down a little low-key. Because slowly, steadily, as now the rotations are coming in, for esports are just right next to them. And if you take a look after the entire, situation, where slowly, steadily, we believe Team Major Pride are also going to be coming in, this could be a pretty hard entrance for them. As you can see, Team REGNUM is all the way out. Team BESIKTAS Esports is now rotating, starting things off, but Team 4 Esports get the wall right next to them. Managed to take one down, but it's going to be yet another 1v2 situation. The S12K comes in hand, and that looks pretty handy. But the trade finally comes through, and with that, it's indeed going to be a pretty interesting one. But slowly, steadily now, Team Slee Europe are going to find themselves in a 2 versus 4 situation in the entire lobby. Hopefully, they do manage to make sure that they are able to claw back the entire scenario. Team 4 Esports wants to close down instantaneously, but from the backlines comes the Team RUTHLESS Esports, and this is where the real challenge begins. But Ford, even with the DBS, gets slammed from the counter DBS, and the shotguns, as we told, the meta in the EMEA is just working wonders at this point. Team RUTHLESS Esports have heard these audios, and slowly, steadily, they wants to get a piece of cake out of this entire fire and party going apart. But let's see, as you can see, Team BESIKTAS are just barely now making it in. Lucky for them, there's no one to gate cape, but there's a big, collapse and a cluster being formed all the way towards the top left. The water circles are now going to be denied, which means Prismox and the upper shores are going to be the end circles.
Yeah, that could be the case. If it becomes a circle, then eventually I believe a lot of teams are going to get cake in the particular compound. But before that happens, we do have a very good fight coming in at this point, as Europe is struggling a lot. OZAROX is trying to have the complete control. Unfortunate, but eventually that is the harsh reality that hashtag 11 is going to be the position where Europe is going to go home. No position points whatsoever for them. On the hindsight, we do have FVT Esports trying to get the advantage of this particular team, which is known as OZAROX Esports. After losing 2 good players from FVT's perspective, I guess things are changing drastically. On the hindsight, we do have MADBULLS in a very big tussle at this point. No doubt REGNUM CARYA is also losing a lot of HPs at this point. Their players are getting picked up, but the thing is, MADBULLS lost their one big player. And due to that, obviously the second, third positions are now going to get a bit more opened up. Oh, another spray goes on, but eventually that was not sufficient to put the player down. On the hindsight, we do have another spray coming in. With that, I guess openings are coming in. Sean, one of those biggest player of the team, has been taken down. MELISE Esports, will they be able to be fruitful? That's a big question. On the hindsight, MADBULLS finds another one. Oh man, what is happening? REGNUM CARYA are now falling like a bunch of cards, and same does MELISE Esports. They're also losing a lot of HP, and a lot of bloodshed is actually there. But BESIKTAS Esports, now they're trying to be a bit more fruitful. Trump comes in, a beautiful boost of the fight is going to be there, but before anything happens, he's going to first of all finish the play so that he gets the 7th frag. He should have actually went for the healings, but decided that he's going to spray down the player, and unfortunately, that is the exact thing which actually backfired, and with that loss, this team is going to go out of the equation. Maybe, possibly, REGNUM CARYA is going to get eliminated as the full team. But yes, there is still a chance, there is still a hope. Not a lot of hope, to be honest, because look at this guy. Ah man, one good shot from MADBULLS and that's done. REGNUM CARYA, despite of showing that much of a talent, this team went out way too early at just, I believe, 9th position, no position points whatsoever, and eventually just 7 points that they were able to get through the eliminations. It's obviously going to make their position a bit comfortable, but remember guys, it's basically still on top. MADBULLS is still surviving. Major Slide is still looking good with the full manpower. So I really believe at this point REGNUM CARYA is once again going to feel a bit more difficult at this point to just be in the top 3. But remember, phase 1 was absolutely in their hands. Now they do want to actually have the major share of this prize pool in the phase number 2 as well. And in order to do that, they have to confront a lot of teams, and that's exactly what MELISE Esports is trying to do. Every single angle from OZAROX Esports is now getting shut down, but I really believe pretty soon MELISE Esports will be actually on the back foot.
I think surely. And now just look at this. There goes another knock. This time it's going to be through MELISE Esports as they find the advantage. Slowly, steadily, now Team MELISE Esports is going to realize that the zone is closing in within few seconds. ARR is just not fighting entirely. And the end circles once again comes in as zone number 3 is going to be just as close to closing things down. But let's see, as you can see, Team ARR Esports are not even involving themselves in these individual fights. I think this could be a real turnaround for them. Meantime, Team MELISE Esports might go real up against the start of Team RUTHLESS. zone goes entirely in the favor of teams like ARR, but FLUX is in the best spot possible for them. There goes another fight. This time it's going to be Oxidus, but the spray looks good from Team MELISE as he managed to just trade in the skin of his teeth. Barely survives it. The buggy, the reinforcement comes in. The Team Oxidus Esports, what is the number situation looking like for them? So slowly, steadily, the nade is going to come in, and that's going to be just thrown apart to find any luck and to take down any player. The connection would also do the job, but the player being thrown down gets spotted, and with that, it's not just the end of him, it's the end of Team Oxidus Esports. Team MELISE Esports, they get a lifeline to survive, but let's see how promising and how fruitful could the entire run be being at the top 7 position.
Oh yeah, at this point, yes, difficulties are going to increase a lot, as you said. Yes, being in the top 7 is not going to be a piece of cake, and eventually being in the top 3 is obviously going to be a bit more difficult equation, and that's exactly what MELISE Esports is trying to come up with, but FLD Esports is not letting you that easily. I mean, the last man standing from FLD Esports is there, but he is still trying to pick up a pace and trying to get one or two knockouts, and then eventually those knockouts can actually turn up in the eliminations as well. But in order to do all of that, this particular guy has to rotate, has to pivot more in the enemy territory, and he's willing to do that. At the same time, he might actually get shot on as well. So yes, I would love to see at the end who's going to have the in-love and who is going to have the main control at this point. But another player gets taken down. It's 20 players and 20 players and 7 teams to be precise, which are surviving at this point. MELISE Esports, they still do have the control of 2 good players. They could actually go ahead and shoot down the rotating vehicles and maybe eventually gather some more facts for the team.
Oh, surely, but wow, this seems to be a pretty long one of those rotations. And Team 4 Esports directly steps inside, the entire stack position. So stack is going to be holded off for them for a pretty good amount of while. But it's eventually, like one thing which we have really seen about the Europe region is they're so precise with their util usage. And that util usage completely has not been just for once or twice, but like they always manage to get the most value out of it. So being in this tag, I do believe it's a little tricky one. The two get spotted and the knock might really barely come in. Team MELISE is surviving with only one of the player. The revival has to come through, but he's rather going in for these open fights. And this indeed once again happens to be pretty incredible one. Bandage being popped up, and let's see if slowly steadily Team MELISE Esports. Zep, the knock onto Zep was pretty inevitable, and now it's just something that he cannot just redo it. Major Pride are still surviving with their numbers advantage, but the spam coming through, it just looks fabulous. And now all of a sudden, once again, Team MADBULLS are going to find themselves in a very tough spot. The smoke is indeed going to fade away. Team MELISE Esports, they lose out that one single player, which was indeed knocked down, and with that, it's all down to one more player surviving from their side. The zone once again goes to closure, and this time it is going to be a pretty tricky spot because Team FLUX, so far they haven't even got themselves in any sort of fight. They are still trying to make sure that as much as many advantage they get, making sure that all of the other teams fight up against each other and then they get the upper hand in the end circle is really interesting. Because if we take a look after the number situation, I believe Team ARR has all the 4 players alive. Team FLUX may be having 3 players alive. Team ARR are still in a little split, but let's hope that the split comes out to be a little, fruitful for them. Team FLUX, meantime, get a domination mark with total of 5 elimination, and that is looking too amazing. For esports, the job wasn't quite yet done, but unfortunate for them as they get taken down, and with that, we are left with only 6 teams more surviving in this entire end circles.
Well, there you go. The trouble is once again getting formulated at this point. We do have FLUX Esports trying to get the major share of this advantage. I mean, if even after taking those 5 amazing fights, this team might be a bit more comfortable, but they're trying to appoint some good shots on MELISE Esports, and MELISE Esports on the hindsight retaliates by taking down MADBULLS. And with that, MADBULLS, which is the team which was stuck at the second position, if I'm not wrong, is already eliminated. Now, the worst part is that there are some other teams like Major Sprite which are still surviving, which is another team trying to be consistent, trying to be on top, and the way they are performing, the way they are back and forth getting some amazing points is going to obviously, I guess, maybe strongly admire to the fact that they are going to be the champion of this particular Ruthless European Invitationals of phase number 2, because the thing is they already have a lot of buffer, and after this performance, yes, the buffer is just going to increase.
Oh, sure. I'm going to agree with you on that. I think with this top 5 position, one thing which completely, is seemingly one thing is very narrowed down. The team ARR wants to play for these end circles. 1 kill for them, and all the 4 players are surviving. They came in towards these top shows position at a very long time ago. And still somewhere down the line, they're trying to make sure that, all of the other team fire up against each other. They get those 4-man advantage till the end, so they will make the most out of it. But I think similar thinking is what the similar approach has been seen from the side of Team Asia Pride. Well, this is the last player will be denied from the side of Team ARR. So that's the second one which you'll be seeing from the side of Team, I believe ARR. Second kill for them. Still, the end circle is going to be a pretty tricky one because it's a 4 versus 4 versus 3 versus 2 scenario. And now Team MELISE with only 2 players. Let's see how they could barely make it inside the circle or no, because they are indeed surviving on that nick of that buggy, which could be a pretty interesting one. But slowly, steadily, as the zone closes down, Akis has to come inside the circle, and that's not going to be Akis, but also the other player from the side of Team ARR. This split could be that one reason that they completely fall apart, but it's not just them who are, working on with these split. There's yet another team which is going to be the side of Team Major Pride, who are totally in a 2-1-1 split, and this split could really be a bit helpful for them just to make sure that they get as many intel as possible. But slowly, steadily, team for FLUX Esports, they're looking to grab the compound, and hopefully, if the next zone goes all the way towards their favor, this could be a real big deal for them.
Oh yeah, I'm looking forward to it. How Major Squad is going to have the major chunk of this particular play zone. The thing is, their flank is obviously going to help them, and the biggest reason is that they have the manpower. So they are not going to be in a hurry, like where they really want to have a controlled area in their favor, because they can fight back. They can be outside the particular areas and still be on the edge, and then eventually fight back as well. That's exactly what they're trying to come up with. AR on the other corner might be actually able to spray down the players and get the advantage, because FLUX Esports, we have Kesh and we do have some of the players also surviving, and getting the advantage is obviously not going to be that easy. 4 teams, 13 players, that's what we have at this point. That complete control might be coming in. Let's see how these smokes are going to be valuable, how these util barrages are actually going to be valuable. Esports now is actually on the move. They're trying to actually establish the control in the next upcoming play zone that is actually going to be there, which is, I believe, the 6th play zone. They are stuck outside the circle as well. That could be one from AR Esports, but look at MELISE Esports. They do have the control of the southern edge. Nobody is there close to them, and that is the only thing which might just save the day for them.
Oh, I think this circle indeed is going to be a little interesting one, because I believe entirely Team Major Pride, they have to fire up against Team FLUX in order to come in. If they come in, I think there are 2 different teams we could really put them in trouble. Team FLUX, which is in the compound with the advantage, and Team MELISE Esports, who are just using these CPP's angles to their advantage. And as you can see, Team ARR once again playing behind the hills, playing behind the entire ridges to make sure that they do not have anything to work with. They're slowly, steadily going to make sure that as the entire zone goes apart, they be the last team to enter the safe circle. Well, the 6th zone is going to come in, and within 2 minutes 30 seconds, once again the zone shift is going to be coming in. So let's see how the positions are now going to come up. The Major Pride taking things slow and steadily, trying to make sure that as many ground they cover could be as many risks as well, which indeed will be implemented. But PFEC goes on with the car and is looking to close down by a margin. Now this is a big distance that they are wanting to cover, but the fight of a 2v1 is indeed going to come up. The first player gets taken down, and yet another player is going to be spotted. The molly is indeed going to put them in a very tough spot, but Team MELISE Esports, they all of a sudden now to one single player, and this one single player has to make sure that he completely comes out to be in a little bit advantage. He also could make sure that he could play just the position points from this point, but let's see how this eventually pans out. From the backlines comes in Team ARR as well, and I think Team MELISE are now being the center of attention. The sprint just comes in, but Strix, unfortunate for him that his first point of spray lands all the way towards his car's bonnet, but nonetheless he tries to recover. Team Major Pride, all the 4 players are just congested within the lobby, within the entire stack, but hopefully they do manage to get enough smokes and enough util on the back in terms of the rotation if it has to come in.
Yeah, definitely, you have to have those utils if when you are trying to rotate, or even if you are actually just trying to establish a dominating factor in the favor, then you do have to have those utilities so that you can actually defeat, and also at the same time create a disruption for the other players as well. And at the same point, if I talk about Major Squad, they have the 4-man power. Same can't be said for MELISE Esports and also FLUX Esports. The only mortal competition that is there for Major Squad, I believe, at this point is going to be majorly known as AR Esports, because the best part is AR has got the edge in the circle, and also there is going to be a confrontation going on at this point. MELISE Esports once again comes up with a good spray, and Major Squad, one good player has been traded off, and with that knockout, obviously the finish could actually come in. A need a little bit, I guess, undercooked at this point, but yes, they are trying their level best to come up with an advantage, but ARR unfortunately finds him, and just like that is going to eliminate the player out with that nade. I mean, that was amazing. MELISE Esports is once again having the major share of the control at this point. They have the 7 eliminations right now, and they're trying to push forward, trying to have the advantage. Well, it won't be that easy for sure.
I think surely. I mean, it's a fight for the number one position, and so far, Team Major Pride are just going over and beyond. Before this, I believe they had like a 20 points of lead, if I'm not wrong. 95 for the team at the second spot, and they were all the way towards number one. But now, the things are really looking promising. But Team FLUX, they do manage to take down one of the players, which pushes up Team Major Pride to just being down to 2 players. Now, this is where things are going to be a little tricky one. Hopefully, they do manage to bounce back, because the revival has to come in. It has to be coming in a pretty, similar position. The ARR is the only team which has not yet managed to get as many kills as the others do in the entire lobby. But yeah, slowly, steadily, I believe Team FLUX has to come in. Team ARR at the same time not looking in the best spot. The positions have now been revealed up, and the car is going to be the center and the medium of rotation. Now they're going to be, transporting themselves all the way, scoring towards the middle of the circles, and that's where the problem arises as Perfect gets the first knock. Now, where did that spray land from is going to be a big clueless situation for Team ARR, because the knock is indeed going to be confirmed, and with that, Team ARR, all of a sudden, the 4-man advantage is now going to be turned down to only 2 players. Hopefully, if they get a revival, this does leave them a chance. But just beneath the cars, the empty spaces are going to be indeed capitalized from this out of Team FLUX. This is happening to be a big deal for them at this point. They know that if they deny this out of Team FLUX, this could give them so much advantage. And ARR already choosing to go for these, split positioning. The split positioning is indeed going to be coming in, and slowly, steadily, as you guys can see, it's going to be Team Major Pride who are just not involving much. It's going to be a 2-1 scoreline, which is going to be a little, split for them, just to make sure that even if 2 of the players gets taken down, that one solo player entirely does manages to, take down the entire game. But with that, Team ARR, 2 more players falling down, it's just down to 1 single player. Prey is indeed being landing up, and that's this time from the side of Team Major Pride.
Well, there you go. Another spray, another retaliation. Once again, it seems like that Major Pride is going to have the complete control. They might just have the chicken at this point. The only obstacle that they're going to face is going to be the team known as FLUX Esports at this point, and that is the only team which is still on the edge. 1 or 2 players were about to get knocked out, but eventually the revival is done and dusted. So I believe Cash and Lutz, both of them are going to push forward along with Soul Key, if I talk about Effect, and also players like Dino and with Monkey Sun having the MG3 machine gun in their favor. I really believe at this point the chaos is not going to unfold that easily. It is going to be Major Slide, which might just have the major chunk of this particular PY in their favor. But yes, at the end we do have the I guess honors of just having 2 players in this particular point. Two teams and eventually 6 players to be precise. But yeah, that's good. Major Sprite, let's see how far will they be able to establish those connections. Has got the M416 with the 4x scope, which is again one of those scope which is not going to be that controllable if I talk about that recoil out of it. But MG3 in the hand, the other guy is still being prone. He might be able to spot 1 or 2 players of that particular enemy.
Well, Team FLUX going in for a pretty standard rotation, and this is where Perfect Spray once again punishes him. He gets down to 10 HP, but managed to heal himself up in the very next moment. Slowly, steadily, the closure indeed is coming in. This time it's going to be Perfect who goes all the way towards the airdrop. But the first point of contact comes in as Team FLUX finds himself knocked off with 1 player. And with such a split position, it is just so much of a difficult scenario for them to even rotate or even retrieve them. There goes the final confirmation that there's no one just yet around Lutz, and there's another damage. Slowly, steadily, Soulkey is also going to realize that these tough spot are really going to push Team FLUX Esports in the second spot. They need a miracle at this moment. They're counting in for those lucks, and this time Perfect is just the one who is denying it solely, steadily all by himself. Team Major Pride once again looking to capture the entire map of Miramar, entire map of Wrangle, with a winner chicken dinner. But is it going to be that easy? And the nade indeed comes in once again, and with that, it's all down to 1 single player. 1 more player to be taken down, but that is going to be the end as the final headshot from the AUG lands up. And with that, it's a winner chicken dinner for the side of Major Pride. And it all comes down to these winner chicken dinner, which is not just being grabbed from their side, but it's also that the lead of 22 or 20, 4 points now increase all the way up towards the 30 point. So, I believe they have like a pretty good number of eliminations. They have like 10 extra points being added up solely towards the placement point which they managed to acquire. So along with all of these going around, I believe this is going to be such a sweet spot for a team like Major Pride to just confirm their entire win already, because slowly, I think the team who came all the way towards the #1 position, it was a team REGNUM CARYA with 165 point. With adding 18 point once again, 145 has been total for the side of Major Pride already after the first game has ended, and there's just 4 more maps remaining. If any team wants to really give a comeback, it has to come in pretty early, or else it could be a little too late for them.
Well, let's see how far will they be able to establish dominance at this point, as we can clearly see that it is a particular team of Major Pride which is having the major share of the advantage. If we talk about effect, well, 920 amount of damage was actually dished out on the high side. If we talk about the damage taken, that is 310. Although, despite of the effect that he was able to, I guess, dish out 920 damage, he was able to take down just one player. All thanks to his teammates, which was able to just get the knockouts and the eliminations as well, who is going to be Monkeyson. Remember, Nomi, Monkeyson and Effect. These are 3 players which are actually running in the race of being the overall MVP as well, where Nomi is actually on top. On the hindsight, we do have players like Dino, which are unable to just once again give that kind of output that we really expect at this point. But at the end, let's move on to talk about the teams to watch as well. We have Major Pride, which is able to rotate for 10.5 kilometers and then eventually use 12 nades and 24 smokes. FLUX Esports 5.75 kilometers of the rotations, where they were able to use 3 nades. And if we talk about the smokes, that was actually 9. Without any worry, these teams are trying to fight back. Same goes MELISE Esports and ARR as well. On the hindsight, yes, there were a lot of long rotations coming in from those teams which are, I guess, in the top 4. But on the hindsight, if we talk about MELISE Esports, ARR and also Major Pride, they were rotating a lot because their own vicinities were quite different. But yeah, these were the teams to watch. Now moving forward, let's talk about more and more details, like talk about more and more performances. Well, the MVP of this particular matchup is obviously going to be Major Pride. Effect, 1 elimination, then 20 damage, and eventually 8 rebels used, and with that 1 assist is also going to be there. And now quite a few players will be thinking like, why is this guy becoming the MVP? So let me remind you guys once again, MVP is the most valuable player, not just for the elimination, but PUBG is a survival based gameplay, so you have to have that survival time, you have to have that damage ratio also being in the favor. So 40% damage, 40% survival rate, and 20% elimination is what is going to give us the main ratio, main point, where if you are on top, you will be Major Pride Effect, and that is why Major Pride Effect is actually still sitting on top at this point. And that's the best part. Individually, every single player from the team is performing, or should I say, outperforming every other guy. Now 18 points in the favor, which is again a very good score to touch. If we talk about FLUX Esports, they have just 14, MELISE Esports with 11, ARR with 8, and REGNUM CARYA with 7 points. If we talk about MADBULLS and BESIKTAS Esports, they have got 6 points each. OZAROX Esports with 5 points, Europe with 2 points each, 2 and 2 points for FUT as well. And if we talk about Excuse Me, they've got just 1 point. SBG and Gaming Gladiators went out way too early. That is why no points whatsoever for them.
Surely steadily, but I think, like the individual plays from the side of team FLUX was also very, very, like interesting to watch out for. But now let's see how the entire overall would also look like. A team FLUX, they added like a very good number, if you ask me, inside the entire points table. But now the match summary, the one with the harsh elimination indeed is going to be none other than Sun, who manages to get like what, 5 total elimination. The damage being done from the side of Effect, which is going to be 920. Then you have Loxy from the side of none other than REGNUM CARYA with harsh assist. Harsh healing being done from the side of Ballistas, as which is going to be 693. And harsh knock from the side of Monkeyson, which is going to be once again teams of Major Pride. So this is like, indeed a very interesting one to talk about. But with that, let's take a look after the overall ranking. Okay, so it's total of 135 points. And with total of 135 points, I believe this is now going to be a big lead. Like, it's a lead of 34 points. With the lead of 34 points, now MADBULLS are going to be, up with like 101. It's the second team to, enter the triple digit, total points club. But SBG are also just being a, little bit of a contender for that hashtag too. REGNUM CARYA not looking that great. Have been one of the teams whose consistency is always talked about between us. But so far, being the most consistent is none other than Major Pride. After 11 games having an average of, almost, I'll say 12.5, it's just miraculous. It's just where we didn't see in the phase 1 itself. NEXUS, meanwhile, is going to go 1 spot down, which is kind of unfortunate for them. Because, they were indeed looking, pretty incredible after the entire day went off for them. But slowly, steadily, now let's take a look how the entire situation comes in for teams like GAIMIN Gladiators. RUYA Esports also goes a little spot down for esports, down to 35. We managed to get barely 2 points off the entire map. And on the back of Team Nexus Esports, I'd love to see how the next map of Miramar indeed is going to come out.
Well, I guess obviously every single map is actually going to be very, very important. So yeah, Miramar is one of those maps where FLUX Esports could actually outperform quite a bit. We did saw Major Sprite actually having the major share of the particular map as well. I mean, Major Sprite is one of those teams which is actually giving the output in every single map. Beat Sanok as well, because if you guys remember yesterday in Sanok's map, they were very aggressive on MADBULLS, very aggressive on REGNUM CARYA, and quite a few teams were taken down by their perspective, although the end story was not there in the favor. But after a quick short break, we'll be talking about the whole perspective for the match number 2, which is again in the map of Miramar. Well, yeah, as promised, indeed, we are back after a quick track break. And in the back end, we were trying to discuss that what kind of competition is going on at this point. And I really believe Miramar is going to pop out with some other type of competitions coming in. But let's move on to the map schedule so that we can have a clear idea of what happened and what is going to happen today. Initially, we had the map of an angle where Major Sprite actually was quite fruitful. I believe 18 points of a game was there, where 8 finishes were there from the corner, and eventually 10 were the placement points. And moving forward, Miramar, Erangel, Miramar, and then Sanok will be the map. I really hope that today Sanok is not going to get shifted as it shifted yesterday. But yes, now let's move on to the prediction. For a moment, indeed, I thought that my third prediction is going to get corrected while REGNUM CARYA was performing in the first match, but eventually their aggression was way too much and it paid off in an elimination. But now moving forward to predictions, through the honor upcon, what do you think which particular team is going to bag out the victory?
Oh, I think it's like pretty much of a do or die scenario. So I might go with the side of none other than, Team Oxyrus Esports. I think Oxyrus
Okay.
Esports so far they do manage to stay alive. Their rotations are pretty good. It's just that in the end, the firepower is what overcomes them, and pushing them in a very limited, firepower. I do see that how the entire situation now goes on. I'd love to see, but would love to know your thoughts on what's your prediction going to be for our first Miramar of the day.
So you're picking Oxyrus Esports, and for me, it is going to be FLUX Esports. I guess let's just give them the benefit of the doubt that that was a team which was exceptionally well in the particular phase number 1. But yeah, their performance is not at all coming in phase number 2 at this point. So yes, for the backends confirmation, the predictions are for me it is FLUX Esports, and for Upcon it is OZAROX Esports indeed that we can see at this point. So we have given our predictions. I guess 14 to 15 teams are fighting in the lobby right now. So make sure to actually give the error predictions as well. Make sure to support your favorite team, particularly even if the prediction is matching with our prediction. That's good that we are actually on the same page. But yes,
Yeah.
now the match is going to get started pretty soon, and I'm waiting for the map of Miramar to be precise. Again, a very interesting map to be precise, and very quickly, map is initiated, and it is starting from Impala, I believe, and it is going towards all the way to Lakob and Alcantara, which is again the northwestern territory of this particular map of Erangel. Well, the only difference that Miramar and Erangel are when it comes to the landmass area. That is, Erangel is an island-based map, and this is a landmass-based map. So definitely you do see a lot of long rotations coming in, and eventually cutting up rotations in the map of Miramar is always like a challenge, always like a challenge to be precise. But yes, now I feel like just 12 teams are here in the lobby, so I don't know what is happening. Teams should actually show their esports spirit and eventually come back in the lobby. REGNUM CARYA now moving forward to the Picardo region. FLUX esports is, I guess, in a very open space. Sky Europe is also trying to be in a very open space right now, and eventually if we talk about the play zone, I guess PUBG gods are also not going to be that much chaotic today. They're just trying, I guess, for the teams to just be on a safer note. But at the same time, we talk about Rob. Look at him. He's actually in a struggle with 2 or 3 wood players. But what? This Miramar only exclusive pistol is now being utilized, with which the players are getting taken down. I'm actually quite confused with that particular pistol, because usually I guess in Rangle we do see an R1895, but at this point that was a double kill with the S197 if I'm not wrong. So those picks were absolutely amazing. Now this guy is again going to take that kind of pick, but in order to do that he has to heal himself first of all. Players will be pushing in quite rapidly. There is going to be a certain push coming in pretty soon. Does not have any kind of utilities right now. I guess one painkiller and one booster is also there. That is going to be the energy drink. So he should actually pop them out so that they can be boosted at the same time. But yes, these smokes are going to create the art of deception at this point, which might just help SBC win the particular fight. Remember guys, SBC is in the top 3 at this point. Oh, unfortunate. It's Victor who has been traded off. Okay, we still have a player. Now that's unique. Now Valo is still surviving at this point, and he's just doing everything that is there in his possible corner to just come up with a winner with a chicken dinner, or maybe just a survival to be precise. But look at that. Look at that. Player does have the idea that he's going to be there in the circuit, and it is going to be an S1987 versus an S1987. But he again jumps back to the second floor trench that he was trying to fight back with, and pretty soon the players are actually going to be in a very close circuit. Maybe Nabalo is not going to survive till the end.
Oh yeah, I think surely, but team like it's reached down to only one player. Ah, that shot. Imagine if that would have connected. Maybe we were talking, but what a start for them indeed. Like, they managed to get 2 players away from the entire, play of Miramar this time. And with that, I think slowly, steadily, things are going to be a little bit difficult for teams like Team Cherry Sports. They need to pull off a miracle, like winner chicken dinner here if they do it on the back of only 2 players. Karas, I think, is really one of those, I'll say like tremendous players when you talk about all the players. Meantime, Regnum Cry once again going and taking the entire regions of Picardo. Slowly, steadily, Picardo is also going to be a big main contesting point, because I believe with only one team going around there and with the zone being actually to your advantage, I do believe this could be, like a big scenario where team starts to consider if they want to get those early elimination, if they want to get those early loot and a fight. So Picardo could be one of those bad spots. You may go towards MELISE Esports. They're all alone towards Hacienda. Lastly, honest for the first time, or is it Elazar, where we are seeing the start of Team Major Pride, which often we don't really see. But then again, this is going to be a little interesting one, because Team Major Pride, now they are up with those numbers advantage. They have a lead of 34 points from what the second spot has to offer for them. But yeah, I mean, like, do we believe in some reverse comebacks for now? Like, after having 34 good points, it all comes down to one more good game, I believe. And if they get one more good game after this, the point might go all the way towards 40. And then even if they rest up in the next 3 games, it would be a pretty difficult one unless a team decides to win a hat-trick winner with a chicken dinner, taking each and every one, step by step in the remaining games. But yeah, I believe it's going to be an interesting one. The team MELISE Esports, some of the star players, if we talk about them, it's definitely CEO. Yesterday, Miramar and CEO was a trade to watch, I believe. The way he, plays in these mid-range with, his rifle. The way his sprays, those 3x sprays look like from his side. I think I'm a real big fan of CEO and of this team specifically, given how dominant he could really, at times be being a solo player survivor.
Well, yeah, definitely there are quite a few players which are exceptionally well, and their performance is absolutely eye-pleasing for us as well. At the same time, if we talk about teams like Europe, they're also trying to come up with some good points. They're trying to get the raid par, also being ready with the rotations as well is going to be the main case. They are pretty close to the Minas region, and this time they don't have any kind of clash at this point, which is again a very good thing for this team, which is again a blessing in disguise for the team. While rotating, they might receive some shots, but before that, I guess the complete control of Minas journalists is obviously going to give them the loots, the utils, and also the idea to sit back and then eventually plan up the particular fight. But FLUX Esports, I would love to see how they're going to perform. Indeed, once again, I'm trying to pick this particular team, but to be honest, I'm not picking them with the right state of mind, to be precise, like their strategies and stuff like that. I'm just picking them because of the reason that they were way too chaotic in the first phase. I don't know what is happening. I guess I really think that predictability is going to be the case at this point, and every single team does know how this particular team is going to perform or what kind of angles these teams are actually going to come up with. So they're being predictable at the same time. If we talk about some other teams, they are also trying to be a bit more pushy. But let's see where the next cycle is going to formulate it. And in order to see that, I guess already the first play zone is on the move, and due to that, I guess there are going to be some teams which are trying to rotate, because the teams which are jumping in the areas, or like Los Angeles or maybe even Puerto, has to rotate, has to be back in the circle, because if the circle is not going to get respected, the circle is not going to respect you, and at the end some of the team is going to gatekeep you. And because this is the map of Miramar, this is very easy to gatekeep in this particular matchup, to be precise. But MELISE Esports fans too, back-to-back knockouts are coming in, not just knockout. I believe the animations are going to get confirmed, and it is FUT Esports after losing some good players. Now the major focus gets shifted to MELISE Esports, and MELISE Esports have lost one from Sly Europe. I don't know how they're going to come back with the revert at this point, but yes, competition is actually looking quite evolved at this point.
Oh yeah, but look after Team versus Esports rolling in style with this monster truck. Oh, if they close on towards Team Slee Europe, this could be a tough spot, and they're actually going in for a fight, not realizing that it's just two players who are just right, like favoring them. So this could be a pretty tricky situation. Already the first point of contact comes in as Zespa is just surviving in some Nick HP. It's a UMP which they have to fight up against, but instantly Zeppa switches back to a, S12K. He drops his weapon, he goes back to a shotgun. Meanwhile, Reflect is going to just spot one out, but the buggy is just going to take him apart. It's going to act as a bait. CO meantime gets taken down, that's a big firepower. Team Slee Europe might have an upper advantage, but the spray lands in from the side of Madrid, from the backside as well. The split position is going to be a big tricky task for the side of Team MELISE to make sure that they find each and every one of them, but the respect is indeed being given away from the side of Team Slee. But look after this nade. This nade meant everything for the side of Team MELISE, and with that, I believe that's the first advantage with the needed, but an instant trade back coming in with the S12K. As the trade comes in the favor of Team Slee Europe, Team MELISE is going to be down to only two players. It's going to be Zeppa in a 1 versus 2 scenario. Team Slee Europe, somewhere down the line, the knock and elimination just came in so quickly that they were just not even able to react. But now, the foreign body is going to be revived up. It's a 1v3. The Jiggle Peaks are indeed coming in with the M4 and an FPP mod. Let's see if there could be some miracle, but well, it seems to me that's not the case. First knock does comes in, but he runs out of the bullet of his 12K, is it? Oh no, he might have 8 last bullet remaining with himself. There's a nade being tossed off, and with this nade, let's see how the entire scoreline now comes in, because slowly, steadily, with only one player, oh, the Molly might do the job. He was already down to a pretty low HP, and with that, I believe the scoreline is looking against Team Slee Europe, as out of 4, none of the players are surviving, and that's a big elimination for them with only one single kill.
Well, yeah, indeed, the eliminations are getting followed up at this point, but let's see how far the eliminations are going to go. Another 1 million coming to the play. BESIKTAS Esports will be wrapping it up way too quickly at this point, and with that, they have got the domination factor in their favor. 5 amazing eliminations, and indeed, it is MELISE Esports, which was, to be honest, making their way to the top 10, is now already done and dusted. Look at this monster truck, already getting fumbled on, because 3 good players have already been busted. So rotations are pretty much impossible with those vehicles. AR on the other corner is also trying to rotate, and hands down, I mean, excuse me, trying to spray that far away and still doing the job like they were getting some knockouts was absolutely mesmerizing for me. Now back pushes forward. With that knockout, he's obviously going to put down the Matrix, but still at this point, elimination is not going to be the main concern for players like that, because they do know that there is going to be a retaliation pretty soon. So in order to actually survive and also get the advantage from the other team, people are just waiting for the other corner. If we talk about REGNUM CARYA, once again a very good interesting pick coming in. Not just that, the confirmation is also going to be there. Gaming Gladiators are once again struggling a lot. Excuse me, on the other corner, finds one on ARR, but I really believe it's not going to be a long battle at this point. They definitely have that knockout, they definitely have that upper hand at this point, but still, in order to completely have the control, they have to push forward. But before that happens, it's Havlik who has been taken down by Tapuk's perspective, and yes, the knockouts are coming in quite rapidly. And Tapuk gets punched up with the pan. With that, excuse me, on the backhand is obviously going to be devastated with that.
Oh man, that's a little tough spot. I think top 9 teams already after the second zone is something incredible to watch out for. But let's surely steadily take a look after how domination is looking like for esports. They had 2 players, right? First, they eliminated like 4 players of SBG, and now they're just looking a pretty dominant one. But with that, just a slip away, Team ERR Esports still trying to make sure that they completely disengage with the fight. Oh, the REGNUM CARYA fight is going to be indeed an interesting one because the Nate takes on the first one. Kiros is left to do the whole job, and it's a 1 versus 3 for the side of none other than for esports. It all comes down to Kiros, and he is going to go in to pop the medkit off, but the Nate doesn't land in the right moment. 3 more seconds, and he might be lucky enough to get 100 HP back. Oh, the DPS comes in back again the moment he gets healed up, but he is looking to close things down. The DPS once again coming in, but he's a little too off angle, and with that, it's going to be none other than Furt who gets eliminated. But from the backlands, I think even Team Excuse Me manages to take down Team ERR Esports at the 8th position. So is this the timing that one of the team who was about to eliminate just gets a little more, like extra point because they eliminated at the very next moment? Because I think that is indeed the case. The Furt Esports, if they would have survived at least for a second more there, this would have turned out entirely, completely against them. And now Team Major Pride are closing things up. It's going to be MELISE, Ballistas, which is looking pretty good, decent. But the trade comes in the favor of Team Major Pride. Nonetheless, REGNUM CARYA gets third party from the start of Team FLUX, and from the upper side, even KU, which is going to be a player from GAIMIN Gladiators, is closing things down as he's nading the entire house, bombarding the entire house to make sure that he gets any point of advantage. Then, the moment he gets the first knock, he goes for a Russian. But Team REGNUM CARYA, they're smart enough to just hold things up. Team Major Pride, who are just putting a little bit damage towards the side of Ballistas Esports, now find themselves in a 3 versus 1.
Well, yeah, definitely the pressure is there. If we talk about Major Pride, as you said, it's a critical fight for them because after losing place like Monkeys, and obviously the aggressive stance is not going to be that easy for this team to make out for. But yeah, FLUX Esports on the other corner is also still surviving. So we do have a lot of clash coming in at this point. Pretty soon the clashes will be getting evolved because this is the third play zone. I really felt that many clashes are not going to be there. But indeed, REGNUM CARYA, look at them. After losing Tron, definitely this team is also going to be a bit more shaky. We do have MADBULLS in front of them with the full manpower, which is again a very interesting thing to talk about. But REGNUM CARYA, after taking, I guess, 3 more points in this particular matchup, they are already setting up a scorecard of somewhere 91 points in their favor. On the hindsight, if we talk about SBG, they are stuck at just 96 points. So this is a very big moment as we were talking about it. To dethrone the teams like SBG and just become the top 3 teams to be precise. And after that, they can actually dethrone the whole list as well. Now moving forward, if we talk about FLUX Esports, their rotations are something which obviously has impressed us a lot in the previous stages. I don't know what is happening currently, but the rotations are not at all working. The wherever they're trying to rotate, whether they're trying to create a stronghold, they are going to be some of the players trying to just shift it apart. But at the same time, if we talk about MADBULLS, we have proper information at this point that they have to push forward in that angle. Other than that, there is nothing that they can do. But yes, 7 teams, 20 players. We are already looking at a lot of exchanges pretty soon. But before that happens, before the 4th and 5th play zone comes in, I guess everybody can just sit back and relax.
Well, slowly, steadily, I believe Team GAIMIN Gladiators are just down to 1 player, and this is also with only 1 player. The end circle could be a little bit of a disadvantage to them, is what I really believe in. Because the circle is shrinking and the next circle might appear within few matter of seconds. And just the moment the next circle goes in, I believe it should be a western shift just to make things more difficult, because that's how the zone mostly happens to be it. Team Ballistas are out of it, and it goes all the way towards western side, but it's still a little fair because it helps a little bit towards the side of these solo players, which is going to be none other than Ballistas, to be in a very helpful spot. Team REGNUM CARYA give up on Wild, and they're directly going in for the early contact, for the early control of the entire, I'll say, end circle. Now this is a big risk because Wild is indeed going to get revived on the backlines of his teammate, and the FLUX Esports, who are just on the edges, also have to take a big leap. Either they play on the edges or either they go in quickly to get some control. Shots being landed up towards the side of Loxy 10, but the damage is indeed not yet contacted. And just look, after this, raid going on for now, it's a complete, rally between the players of Team MADBULLS, who now close things down to a REGNUM CARYA. Oh my god, this is a little tough situation for them. They have came in a little close, and now Team REGNUM CARYA, they have to do nothing but fight up. But what a team nade to start things off, and then headshot to take another player down. Oh my god, this is not happening. Third player also goes down, and with that, Team REGNUM CARYA are up with the 1 versus 4. It's going to be Zelmi who is going to be all down to a 1v4 right now. takes 3 player down, digs another one, and that's a 1v4 from the side of Zelmi. What a way to get the final day started in the second match itself. And Team REGNUM CARYA, all the odds were against them. Everything was just not looking in their favor, but in the end, a 1 versus 4 from Zelmi. Oh my god, that was just an incredible clutch to see. I think after the clutch of Frozen's DBS in the very first game, this is the, like, you know what, like the third last game of the entire tournament, and that's where we finally get to see some of these fruitful movement. But I think indeed the 1v4 all the 4 kill might have went to his favor, no, because the first knock did came in through a nade.
Yeah, I mean, trying to get an opening is obviously going to be a very demanding stuff, and that's why people are trying to go up and use the nades and utils like that so they can have the initial momentum. At the same time, if we're going Mage's side, they're getting attacked from multiple corners. That is why the falling back is going to be very, very important. But before that happens, Nomi is already being put off. Now his knockout is obviously going to get resulted in an elimination. Otherwise, the teammate should be approaching it. The angle, to be precise, is not going to be that easy to deal with. But I would love to see how Nomi and his teammates are going to perform at this point, because yes, there is going to be a sudden push coming in. Because of that push, obviously, maybe the advantage will be falling in the hands of team like FLUX Esports. Also, REGNUM CARYA is there with the full manpower. Not the full manpower, I mean, 3 players are still surviving. With FLUX Esports, they had the full manpower, but they are also about to lose one good player of their particular team as well. Pretty soon, if the revival does not come in, it is going to get repeated. But before that, all of that happens, there is going to be a complete slam coming on the, I guess, maybe right hand side of this particular plateau. I would love to see how the results are going to get evolved at the same point. If we're talking about Ninja's time, once again the space are going in. Dino is actually on the verge of taking him down, but I'm sure unfortunately that was not an easy connection to make. Another molly goes in. This could be it. This molly, if connects, is going to make its way to the like which we are talking about. But another spray goes in, and with that Dino is going to find one. That is going to be no excuses. Havliko has been put off.
Truly, but now I think has to do a big task here. Oh, I think M4 with a very sustainable grip can help you do that. Like without any ADS, he manages to get the first knock, get the first point of advantage. And with that, Team Excuse Me are now going to be rushed in with all the players. Defect going in, being as a bait, trying to get as many intel as possible. It's a domination being up from the start of Major Pradas. Once again, they find themselves in an elimination of total 5 points. Now, what numbers are we talking here? It's 140 points totally for them. But just as we say that, there comes a fight back. And now it's going to be Xeno left all by himself. This is a little tough spot for him. Let's see if we could really try to recover from this. But Excuse Me, meantime, solo surviving player Beck is indeed going to be denied, and with that it all comes down to a 1 versus 1 versus 4 scenario. It's Team FLUX and their potential map win, which could be the case unless there's yet again a 1v4. But GAIMIN Gladiators, Major Pride and Team REGNUM CARYA, I mean, Team REGNUM CARYA have already done a big wonderful job, proven themselves again. But the DBS in the end circle, I don't know how fruitful it might look like, especially given the fact that it's so much of an open zone that even if you want to close down the fight, it's going to be a pretty big path and pretty big margin of meters of the distance which you have to cover.
Yeah, I mean, that is absolutely true. But at this point, FLUX Esports is the only one which has got the momentum, which has got the, I guess, full manpower at this point as well. REGNUM CARYA on the other corner will be one of those teams which can actually go ahead and give the correct competition to that particular team as well. I would love to see what kind of result is going to be there. At the high side, if we talk about FLUX Esports, yes, one good player is sleeping and the other ones are trying to just completely help out the players that are there in the closer vicinity. But I would love to see how that anticipation goes on. I guess FLUX Esports is doing everything that is there in the capable of their hands to get a chicken in at this point. 3 amazing animations are there already, but they can actually go ahead and bag out some more strategies. I mean, just 4 players and 8 teams are still surviving. Sorry, 4 teams and 8 players are still surviving, and I would love to see how their performance goes on at this point. If we talk about GG, that is going to be a very interesting pick, a very interesting shift coming in. They do have the drop advantage as well. Players are getting spotted, so obviously he should actually have bailed out. But the thing is, he's being very aggressive at the stance, and he might just be able to touch up the tool area.
Probably certainly, but let's see how the entire situation now looks like for teams like FLUX Esports. Because FLUX Esports is indeed coming in a very good spot there. First of all, not going in all together with a similar vehicle. One going in the front sides, trying to make sure that he gets as many intel as possible. Meanwhile, as he gets it, which is going to be in this case, Solki is going to call in for the reinforcements. Now, if we take a look after the entire circle, I think the circle could go a little bit towards Team REGNUM CARYA side. They are towards mid. Team FF Loads is going to be that one last player who just comes in now. towards the circle in the very next time. And like as we can see, Dino as well, who's really in the very big backline. Let's see how Dino is also going to make it, because Major Pride, even if they get any sort of, like placement point, it could be more than enough. But Regnum Cry, indeed, they are the one total number of 7 kills already. So I believe this is where, the advantage really lies upon their hand. I believe it's going to be Regnum Cry who is indeed going to get spotted. KU might also want to get away of his, beautiful little sword here, because that might really, push on a lot of attention. FLUX did not yet get spotted, but see, just as I told, he might as well want to get rid of this, but a good knock coming in while gets taken down. Oh, what? Regnum Cryer just barely makes it in. Doxy10 would have been on the verge of an elimination. This would have been it for them, because already White is eliminated, and alongside Wild being out of the equation, it would have been an easy one. But there comes a closer. This time it's going to be a little tough situation, as slowly steadily Team Regnum Cryer might find themselves being eliminated at the 4th spot, and Team FLUX, such a good execution for them. Indeed, it could have been one of the most promising what they were really expecting it to be, but with total 8 number of elimination, Team Regnum Cryer will be eliminated at the 4th spot, leaving us down to a 3v1v1 scenario. FLUX still waiting to get revived in. The third player would really be wanting for a revival. In any miracle case, if a nade lands right next to him, because this is a lower reach disadvantage which they are currently dealing with, this could be a big, situation which could be capitalized on these solo players like Major Pride and none other than Gaming Gladiators. KU already looking to close things out, but FLUX have never seen them, ever jumble up on the easiest winner chicken dinners with their managers to really, get away with it.
Yeah, I mean, that could be the strategy for sure. But moving forward, if I talk about FLUX Esports, some of the players are trying to actually have the control of their region. They favor all the other players. If I talk about them, they've got the stronghold of this compound, so they're trying to fight back with that. But let's see what kind of pick will be coming in, because we do have a lot of rotations, a lot of angles being covered at this point. And if we talk about the angles, it is pretty close to the water treatment area. FLUX with 5 amazing eliminations, Major Sprite with 6 eliminations, and immediately we talk about Gaming Gladiators. Gaming Gladiators, they just have 1 elimination at this point. But again, a very big mistake being made. I don't know why these silly mistakes are being delivered by FLUX Esports. They are very close to have a chicken dinner, but again, a mistake has happened, and due to that mistake, you can clearly see one more loss could be coming in. Not just one, other loss could be coming in. If that knockout goes in, remember guys, if one more player gets knocked out and also get eliminated, then I guess FLUX Esports is also going to have a similar type of approach where everybody is now going to just go ahead and secure some good placement points, because if we talk about the first 3 positions, well, they are already occupied by a lot of teams.
Surely, steadily, and in these end circles, FLUX Esports, this could cost them, you do believe, right, that this could cost them an entire winner chicken dinner, that additional 4 point, which could be like real treat for them to keep some, add some numbers for them to at least get away with some amount of prize pool. This could cost it entirely, but KU is going to be in the middle of those smokes, which is going to be so easily, spotted up. The smoke completely went in, against him. And that's how, the journey for Team Gaming Gladiators. And at the 3rd spot, which is still a pretty interesting one. But slowly, steadily, let's see how now the other teams are also going to be coming in. Because I believe Team FLUX and Team Major Pride, the last team surviving Major Pride, has to come up with a huge 1v2. Yeah, and the biggest advantage for them indeed says that they are both the players playing in 2 different corners. But just the moment one of the player might get spotted, hopefully they do manage to stay alive. If the knock comes in directly from Team Major Pride without Team FLUX, knowing it could be a little difficult one. But before all of that, K just, dominates it. He just, shuts down the conclusion and brings up the winner chicken dinner to his team. And that's going to be yet the 2nd game of the day. First Miramar, and it goes all the way up towards the team. And I believe this was a pretty interesting one in the end circles as well. Team FLUX, it was a little risky for them, but indeed, Major Pride, you gotta give up to the consistency, number of eliminations which they have, plus on to top things apart, they also did manage to get, 2nd position, which is like 6 points for placement, which then again is a pretty interesting one. So let's see how the entire overall standing now kind of looks like, as the 2nd winner chicken dinner of the day was all the way up towards the side of Team FLUX.
Yeah, I mean, the competition, the anticipation, and thank you FLUX Esports for keeping my word at this point. I guess as a fan, I was expecting that this team is going to back out the chicken dinner. I mean, we were quite impressed to see the way they were performing in the initial phase, that was phase 1. But finally, with that chicken dinner, they have jumped a lot from later pages, like from 2nd page, I believe they have already jumped down to the first page with 6th position in the favor, which is again a good thing. 1450 is going to be the amount of damage they were able to dish out, and total 17 points of a match was there from the corner in the phase number 2, day number 3. Match number 12 to be precise. So 3 more matches to go. One is going to be Wrangle, then Miramar, then Sandhawk is going to come in. To be honest, I really want these matches to get over way too soon, and eventually I just want to enjoy the map of Sandhawk because those boot camp, pine shots are absolutely amazing. But let's talk about the Venom Chicken team stats. I can clearly see Soulcare was the one with the highest amount of damage and also the damage taken at the same time. If we talk about the knockouts, these are 3 highest elimination coming in from Team 5+6 were from the player known as Kish. If we talk about Solus and Luz, both of them went out a bit too early, and that is why they were unable to do a lot of heavy lifting for the team. But now let's talk about the teams to watch. We have 5 Esports rotating for 11.5 kilometers. That's huge. 4 nades, 9 smokes, and 1 molly was also there altogether. If we talk about REGNUM CARYA, we have 6.25 kilometers of a rotation, 9 nades, 17 smokes, and 2 mollies as well from the corner. If we talk about Major Sprite, and 9,050 is going to be the number of meters that these guys were able to travel. And while traveling, they were able to use 10 smokes, 7 nades, and 1 molly as well, which is again a good thing. But excuse me, once again, rotation was not that optimum, but eventually their usage of the utility does shows us that they were a bit aggressive whenever the team was in front of them.
Oh, slowly, steadily, I think with that, we'll be moving in to see how the entire, MVP of this one game completely looks like. It's going to be Dino. 4 eliminations for him. I think he eventually brought back those, winner chicken. Oh, okay, he was just in the second spot to winner chicken dinner. But alongside that, dealing a total damage of 710 indeed stays amazing. 0 assists, which means that, if he makes his way in to get any sort of knock, he is indeed going to be the one who gets the job done, and he is the perfect man if you really want him to be that frontline assaulter. And I believe it's not just him, but there are so many instances where we even saw those miraculous clutches coming in from the side of I believe it was Zico, which was from Team REGNUM CARYA, almost a 1v3 right there. But yeah, taking a look after the entire match ranking, it's going to be Team FLUX with total number of 17 total points. Then we have the side of Team REGNUM CARYA with 12, Team Major Pride with also 12, and slowly steadily Team excuse me, who had an early elimination, which was unfortunate because they had almost the most number of elimination in the entire game. But unfortunate for them, as they will be down, they got down at 8th spot if I'm not wrong. For esports, an early success taking down SBG, but not good for them because they were only down to 2 players. And just below them, it's going to be SBG. MELISE's MADBULLS, Lee Europe, and ARR also got a little tough fight in this entire game so far.
Well, yeah, indeed, the tough fights, the tough fights, everything was absolutely looking fluent for quite a few players. But eventually, if we talk about the match summary, you can clearly see that the guys coming from REGNUM CARYA was absolutely amazing. Beat the aggression, beat the strategies as well. At that same exact point, we have 5 Esports versus Soulcare, which was able to use the highest amount of first kickers. That means the highest healing done was actually here from his perspective. 339 HPs were actually held up from this guy particularly. So yeah, that's good. In the match summary, we definitely expected a lot of stuff to go up and down at this point, but let's move on to the overall ranking. Major Pride, kudos to them. They have already secured the first position, as we can clearly see, and there is a very big buffer, to be honest, between Major Pride and both MADBULLS. You can clearly see that Major Pride has got 3 good chicken dinners, and on the high side, if we're talking about the buffer, that is of maybe 44 points, I believe. So that huge buffer is obviously going to destroy a lot of space from MADBULLS' perspective. And I really believe at the same point, REGNUM CARYA can actually bounce back and maybe dethrone MADBULLS and have the second position's advantage in the favor. SBG on the other corner, 96 for them, excuse me, still stuck at the same position with 85. Now there is a massive jump of 5 Esports. Look at that. The jump of +5 position is going to come in with that performance. And on the second page, we do have another green arrow, and that is for BESIKTAS Esports, which was able to take down 42 points in the favor. All for the eliminations, just 10 points for the placements.
Well, I think this is indeed going to be, a little interesting scenario. If you take a look after the entire, score lines, 43 total distance of what, I believe now is up from their side. And if this is how, the entire situation comes in, I believe, it's just like a matter of one more game. Now, remember, after this, any match you'll be seeing, it's not going to be happening in a repetitive mode, all the games which you have after this point, it's like, just a single map which will be there. The 3 maps remaining, starting things off, it will be Wrangle, then it's gonna be Miramar, but the last to conclude the day, to conclude the entire tournament of Ruthless Hype, Europe Invitation, it's gonna be the map of Shadow. So I'm gonna be pretty exciting. Hope you are so. But for now, let's take a quick short break. Let's give some break towards the teams as well, so that when we are back with the action of Wrangle. Up next is gonna be Wrangle, but before that, we'll be back with a short break.
Welcome to Dynaground! Hello, my name is Owen and I'm your professional Dyna rider. Today I'll be teaching you how to ride a dinosaur and win that chicken dinner. Now, let's begin! Relax, don't be scared. That's the sound of the mighty T-Rex. Now, here's the first dinosaur encounter. I want you to meet my girl Vicky, my sweet little raptor. Look how cute she is.
Isn't she lovely?
Vicky or raptors, they're the most vicious and fastest beasts in the world. To ride a dinosaur, first you must build trust. They are carnivores. They eat meat. You have to feed them off. They will think that you are their friend, not food. Once they trust you, they will be a great companion. However, taming a dinosaur can be seen. Experience dinosaur taming and riding the all-new version of PUBG Mobile Dynaground. Explore Dino Settlement and Wild Reserve and embark on a prehistoric adventure in the Battle Royale game. Come and play now.
Well, welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Ruthless Europe Invitationals. As we are right back up next to your screens, it's gonna be the map of Wrangle, the third game of the day, and indeed the final Wrangle which we are gonna be seeing in for the entire day. But I'm gonna be pretty excited to see how the entire scoreline now would come on to, because slowly, steadily, it's been a record-breaking #1 scoreline so far from none other than very own team Major Pride, but just at the backlines, Team ARA, Team REGNUM, CARYA, teams like, I believe none other than, like I'll say, MR is also going to be someone to be a real big contestant. MADBULLS also not to forget. But with that, let's come up with some predictions for now. As Raider comes in to get all of those predictions correct, and I'll give you the first benefit of doubt. Which team would you want to pick in when we fall on to the final wrangle of the entire tournament?
MADBULLS, this is the time to shine. Otherwise, President Kara is looking forward to snatch your positions. SBG on the other corner is looking forward to snatch the competition. And on the other corner, there is one more thing. and that is like there's a massive jump coming in between MADBULLS and I guess Major Sprite at this point. So, Upon, what about you? Which team are you going to prefer in this particular matchup?
Oh, I think if you're going with Mad Bulls, I am surely steadily going in with the side of Team AR or Esports. Let's see if
Okay.
Team AR or Esports could really come up. This is the final wrangle, what we know surely. So hopefully, there do happens to be some of those, like amazing scenarios where we do expect them to retrieve back. Nonetheless, teams do realize that it's going to be a do or die situation. So they have to make sure that nonetheless they do get the most out of it. They do play it in a YOLO mode and they do make sure that, at this point they anyways have nothing to lose. But with that, the plane path is already in, and I like what I'm seeing so far from the plane path indeed.
Oh yeah, definitely a very dynamic path coming in, and a lot of teams are trying to jump in once again from their own vicinities. We do have a clash coming in between SBG, I believe, and along with that, there is going to be another team which is jumping in the close by vicinity. But I was like Europe, they are trying to approach the Milta, and Milta surrounding regions are going to be the major concern for that particular team. If we talk about FUT, they have decided to jump in for the prison region to be precise, pretty close to them, prison and shelter region to be precise. And on the high side, if we talk about the school area, we do have Major Sprite pretty close to us, and you can clearly see Major Sprite this time is going to have a very split drop type of situation. MADBULLS on the other corner is going to back out the Rozok region, but yeah, there are going to be a hell lot of clashes coming in major vicinities. But look at the zone. Oh wow, this zone is actually going to be very amazing. Yes, indeed, this is the final map for the final map of Erangel for the Ruthless Europe Invitational. But it does seem like that PUBG gods have listened to it and they know this is the final map, so why not just give them the final competition of this matchup?
Oh yeah, I think surely supposedly, but I believe this is indeed going to be a big disadvantage to a team like Oxus Esports who love to go towards the side. But excuse me versus FLUX for one more time. The fight goes on with them, and this is going to be a treat to watch out for. Which team is going to be the one who comes up on top? Revolver shot coming right up toward the face of Beg. Team, excuse me, down to only one player. It's going to be all coming down towards the side of Kivik, who is up with a good weapon. But let's see if he could really be good for one. He finds the first knock. Finds the first advantage. Now it's down to a 1v1 if I'm not wrong. But the last fallen player is going to make sure that he indeed retrieves himself some weapon. He just asks for a DBS from his teammate because it's a pretty important one. If he doesn't have the DBS, if he doesn't have the short range weapons, this could be a little difficult. But at the same time, the revival are coming in from either side. Now the revival would give them an advantage. Team FLUX still surviving with all the 4 players. But the revival is all that matters. But Kitch is going to get indeed with a good aggressive play. Well, he's finishing all the players, which is a little beautiful for him. This team, excuse me, are giving that respect. They're giving that one chance for them to retrieve back. But at the same time, look at this long rotation which is coming in. Some long rotations to be played in. FPP switch, and with that, I think that's the end. First down, second down, and it's all the DBS doing the job, and Team FLUX enjoying all the 3 players remaining alive. This could be a big game for a team like Team FLUX because indeed they know for a fact that this game is where you have to give some final points being added before you fall down to a map where you surviving till the end circle matters the most, and then the last game which you do not want to really depend upon. Like Shanak is going to be a lot, like your team's not depending upon themselves but depending upon the luck, the factors and the zone that will it favor them or no.
Well, yeah, let's have a look into that as well because we do have 11 teams and 43 players surviving. As we can see, excuse me, is going to be the only team which has been taken down on the other corner. If we talk about FLUX Esports, yes, indeed, they have lost one good player, but eventually look at those number of frags. 4 good finishes are already in their hands. They're off to a very good start, and eventually after the previous matchups, they are looking a bit more confident as well. At the same time, if we talk about AR Esports, let's see what they can do. We have multiple angles from which they can fight back, but the thing is, pretty soon the criticality of these fights are actually going to get amplified. On the back end, we have Akashi, we do have Pros as well in the scene, and on with that we have Navalo also coming in the match number 13 of the day, which is actually pretty close to the end of this particular quarterfinals. But yeah, at the end, we would love to see how that performance goes and how the anticipation, how the aggression is going to work out. At the same point, we have BESIKTAS Esports with 22 points, which is trying to rotate. MELISE Esports with the 3 points, with 0 points to be precise, they're trying to rotate. So multiple teams which are there in this vicinity are obviously trying to get a chance at this point. And at the same time, if the operation gets succeeded, it will be absolutely amazing. Now moving forward, we have 11 teams and 43 players. Small hiccups are coming in. Leave them at this point and give me the major cases.
Surely, I think it's interesting to see how like a big like I'll say area like Yasiana Poliana is so well played from both the teams. is they're trying to make sure that like both of them get a pretty good, I'll say, like position in the entire region. Then they try to make sure that they get the loot and then they come in to execute a fight. Most of the time, it was just like one team going up against yet another one. All the like game fall down to their luck and their weapons, like what they have. And even if they do manage to take him down, the damage which has indeed been taken away in retaliation isn't being healed up in most of the cases. But now with that, Team Slee Europe is going to be still positioning in towards the side of Milta. Milta is going to be, like those positions where they really kind of rely upon. And given how the zone is also playing is really interesting. Milta, Pochinki, Ferry Pair is still going to be a big contesting point. MADBULLS goes all the way towards military base. We'll take a look. And Team ARR Esports is all the way setting in to put a bridge cam at the same time.
Yeah, definitely the bridge camera is going to be there, but before that, what happens between Europe and this particular team, FLUX Esports, is actually going to be very impressive. We can clearly see a lot of utils, a lot of needs are being utilized at this point. Will that connection be coming in? That's a big question. And there we go. Once again, the trade fire will be there. With that, one good player has been taken down. It's Europe's perspective, who will be able to take down one good player. So this kind of play is coming in, like multiple players are falling short of death, multiple teams are actually getting flashed at this point. With that, another connection comes in. With that, FLUX Esports is again going to lose one more player. The other team that had the performance on the brink of the edge of the game is still back in the game. They have got their fights, they have got their points at this point as well. If we talk about FLUX Esports, yes, just a single points from the particular perspective. Same goes for gaming gladiators as well, and that is the only team which is actually out there to straight up. So just be for in straight up straight quick. On the other hand side, if we talk about FLUX Esports, yes, 4 amazing points from their perspective. They have got 68 points altogether, but still nothing when it comes to their regular systems or maybe the output resulting in the favor of the game. Well, yeah, there we go. If we're talking about FLUX Esports, once again, they're trying to move, they're trying to have the advantage out of this particular vehicle. They've got 4 amazing finishers. That really means they have got the initial momentum. I would love to see how they're going to wrap up the later stages in the favor.
I think this was so unfortunate. I mean, team, like MP49 having such a big advantage, but yet with that, the spray just landed onto him and him surviving barely in that one single HP. A pretty unfortunate one, but hopefully a team, like Slee Europe keeps those hopes alive when it comes on towards the upcoming games of Miramar and Shanong. Nonetheless, this indeed is going to be map where we do have the top 10 teams already. And with these top 10 teams, let's see how it continues so far. Slowly, steadily, I believe the teams are now rushing in towards the side of military-based Sosnovka Island. And being in the Sosnovka Island indeed, brings out a lot of advantages for you. Because the end circle, you don't have to worry about the bridge and the, like situation which could really pull you back in a very, like unfortunate position. But let's see how situation eventually turns out. Ballistic Esports checking in a very long range rotation. This is a pretty long range, and I believe with this, the things could go a little bit devastating for them. They'll burn out a lot of those, inventory when it comes down to their healers. Already, as you can see, Zeshi is down to only one single first aid. GAIMIN Gladiators, they take a easy route out, and Team FLUX are going in all the way from the western regions just to make it in. But where will the next circle go? Well, it goes all the way towards the mid-Sosnovka Island, and this is where the real action is going to become. Zones go out towards the military base to end, and like farewell the entire wrangle in this IP of Ruthless Europe invitation. But yet another fight coming up next. It's gonna be none other than Team Major Pride going up against Team Foot.
Well, yeah, definitely that fight will be absolutely amazing as well. As you said, definitely in the Novo Rupner region, we do have a clash coming in. And before that fight happens, I guess there are multiple releases which are being used up, and Dino gets picked up with that particular raid. But again, a trade fight will be coming in. That is going to be Sabian, who has been picked up. Yes, the trades are coming in, but eventually it is Major Spread which is losing major chunk of their SP at this point. And this is obviously going to give the momentum to the MADBULLS and REGNUM CARYA and teams like that, which can easily bounce back and have the end game in their favor. At this point, I would love to see how the competition is going to get evolved, because FLUX Esports, despite of the fact that they're getting some good points, the zone is taking at this point, and they have to make their way back in the formation, make their way back in the game. And at the same time, if I talk about players and if we talk about the aggression as well, we do have Major Sprite. The last one standing is still surviving. The only guy which was there in the edge is still going to survive. If we talk about MADBULLS, they have got the full manpower. Same goes for REGNUM CARYA. One good player is there from his previous perspective. He's not going to lose any kind of hope. Yeah, still he does it. He gets the right opportunity, and pretty soon the zone is going to get back. But I'm actually waiting for that moment to get started.
Oh, okay. The fight is looking beautiful. Team versus esports. They indeed are going to take on the side of none other than Kishu, but at the same time, Team SBG, they're totally going to get annihilated from this play zone. Ballistics esports, the rotation just comes in the nick of the time. With that, slowly, steadily, another knock comes in. The Molly is going to deny so much play area. But look, after the start of injury, he's just thrown down in the center of nowhere. And I mean, he's inside the buggy now. He's going to be seating in the back seats. SBG, two players get spotted. He takes one down. P7 is playing it so smartly. He's playing it so sneakily. And with that, I believe, slowly, steadily, the entire scenario is going to go against them. As it's going to be a team elimination. Team SBG fall down at the 10th spot. With only 2 number of elimination, it's indeed not one of those best games they could have really expected enough. But let's see how the entire scoreline now comes out to be when we'll take a look after the end. Like overall scorecard, but at the same time, Team 4 Esports is unstoppable. 10 total elimination. Team MELISE are the next one to be almost getting eliminated, and yes, they will be. Get eliminated at the 9th spot, giving us the top 8 teams. The rotation to come in towards the source of Island is indeed going to go on, as the no pool bridge is a total cluster so far. Team 4 Esports once again wanting for their nades to do most of the heavy lifting, but let's see if that could be a real easy case for them or no. Slowly, steadily, REGNUM, CARYA, they lose a player to the play zone, and that once again happens to be a little unfortunate one. Zone closes in within 5 seconds, but the damage with the zone is dealing with between these players are once again happening to be a very unfortunate, I'll say, turn of series. But now Team REGNUM cry, they have to fight back. They know that only one way to win this fight is going to be fighting back, and with that, the Astral kick comes up. That's down to only one single player surviving from the side of Team REGNUM CARYA. Can Team REGNUM CARYA pull off a miracle right here? While good to take the first one down, wants to go for another one, but with no ADS, that's the little and maximum as what he could do. Slowly, steadily for esports. Once again, the revival is coming in. Yep. Oh, do they have enough time to go in all the way towards the circle? Is going to be a tough call. 21 seconds, still the next circle also shifts in.
Well, before all of that happens, remember guys, at this point, Affinity Esports is actually popping out quite a bit. They have got 12 amazing frags, and they might just bag out somewhere around 20 frags at the end of the game if they are able to secure the chicken, and if they are able to survive till that as well. But before that happens, I guess it is going to be REGNUM CARYA, which is trying to rotate. And definitely have got an insight that there is going to be nobody on the back end, but indeed it is going to be Tron, which is on the back end. He might actually spray down the player. Was able to take one down. That is what exactly I was not at all expecting, but at the same time, we have BESIKTAS Esports trying to rotate, trying to actually have the upper hand of this particular fight, but now the needs are being cooked up. This is going to be an unfortunate movement for REGNUM CARYA from the particular perspective, but the best part is he's still going to survive, and also if we talk about the player coming from the other team is also going to survive, is also going to have a lot of control out of it. So we do have elimination coming in, that is REGNUM CARYA, but the players which are surviving, already trying to gatekeep the particular play zone, which is again a very good approach coming in. So after losing to REGNUM CARYA, they have got the 7th position, and eventually the 8 is going to be the amount of shooters that have been utilized at this point. Once again, the players are trying to rotate. This is going to be a close one. Yes, indeed, the shot was absolutely mesmerizing, but still it is not enough. Oh, that, my friend, was actually a very close lamb coming in, but eventually look at these guys. They're just sitting there at this point. They're trying to come in, they're trying to have the advantage, but they are approaching the similar angle. But Soulless finds a beautiful pick. With that, obviously, it's a FLUX Esports which is going to have the upper hand out of this particular fight. But seems like that MADBULLS will be coming in with the revival, so that the players will be getting the reset, and eventually the fights will be a bit more auspicious and chaotic as well.
Well, once again, oh, what a spray of the Scarrel, and that takes on Shay as he gets the final kill with the DBS. Slowly, steadily, I do believe that, maybe somewhere down the line, Team FLUX Esports are just going in towards the domination mod, but Team ARR will take down FLUX at the same time. Flea is going to get taken down. Frozen, meanwhile, deals with the side of none other than Soul, can instantly trades him apart with his micro OZ. Now it all comes down to these final plays. Now it all comes down to 11 players. And with 6 teams surviving, you could only imagine how difficult things would really, get if teams eventually want them to be at the end circle. The winner chicken dinner is indeed going to be all long from the start of Team MADBULLS. Because once again, I believe it is going to be a circle which might go towards the C building. Oh, yes, it does. And Team Major Pride all the way towards the center of it.
Wow, what a zone, man! What a zone! I mean, I'm so impressed to see today's days. I mean, the way the competition has been evolved from the phase number one, day number one, to phase number two's last day to be precise is absolutely amazing. Once again, the revival could be actually concerned, but AR is not going to let it go that easily. They're going to actually put the player down. Has got the fist in his hand. Oh, almost! He had him almost, but eventually at the end, the player bailed it out, and he was able to play the mind games. And eventually, with that, we are left with just 5 teams and 8 players. 8 players to be precise at this point. Look at FPD Esports, 13 amazing finishes, and they are still looking good. They are still surviving at this point. I don't know how far will they be able to go, but the thing is, the evolution of these teams are absolutely amazing to be precise.
Well, with that, I think slowly, steadily, teams are going to be going inside the zone at the same time, trying to make sure that they get as many room of cover as possible. They do realize for a fact that, I believe like going in the end circles with 8 players surviving could give you so much room that the risk factor would completely come in. The teams could really try to make sure and tend to, make sure that they get the entire advantage to their favor. But let's see how now the situation comes in from the other side too. Because I believe slowly, steadily, however, the entire numbers advantage does fall into the hands of teams like AR or Esports. I would love to see, like how they are going to come out with the winner with chicken dinner. And how easy is it going to be? Because you need a team major pride. They have that one player who is still looking a pretty much promising. Team 40 Esports have had a game of the entire tournament so far. 13 total kills, which is the maximum out of Team 40 Esports we have seen so far. But let's see how the situation now comes in, because Team 40 Esports is spot on the first player. Beck is going to get spotted up. Someone taps to land him, but Beck is smart enough to just instantly fall back, knowing for a fact that they are not yet the team worth fighting for.
Well, there you go. 4 teams, 7 players, as you said, are still surviving at this point. If I talk about the major share of the lobby, that is going to be in the hands of ARR. And FLUX Esports on the other corner is going to have the major share of the finishes to be precise from the lobby, which is again a very good thing. BESIKTAS on the other corner have got 5 amazing eliminations. Just a solo player is still surviving. And look at this guy. I mean, he's trying to sneak up on the player. Enjoy is the name who's going to enjoy picking up the players bit by bit. On the hindsight, if we talk about major spite, the only player which is still surviving is going to be very close to the C building. I guess that this is going to be a very passive approach coming in from all the other teams, because all they have to do is right now just sit back and relax. And also, if we talk about the other team which has got the prize, which has got the manpower as well, they're trying to just scout around the player, and maybe if they get an idea, they can easily shut them down as well.
Oh, surely, steadily. But I believe now the prone players are also going to do, I think a lot of, I'll say, heavy lifting here towards the turnaround of what could come in. Team 40 Esports might not really see what's coming to them at this point. And I mean, here again, he gets spotted up, but what, barely surviving in 10 HP. Yeah, but Enjoy manages to take down, eliminate the farm player. Well, this is now going to be an interesting one if you ask me in the end circles, because we are down to only 6 players. It's going to be one of those 3 versus 2 versus 1 scenario. And with that, Team ARR, let's see if you can, really bring up some wonders, because I believe Team 40 Sports will indeed be a very promising team, where the zone also lies in the front of them. And Team Major Pride completely gave up that C building position. They're one solo player who is wanting for the other 2 teams to fire up against each other and then try to make sure that they come in the end circles.
Yeah, I mean, the strategies are working out for quite a few teams, but yeah, will they be able to secure the chicken? That is the biggest question at this point in my mind. But yeah, Esports now actually getting tagged up at this point. I think Esports is doing everything that is taking in hands, trying to come up with some decent plays. So that is good indeed. The body shots, and along with that, there were some mesmerizing shots also coming to the play. But at the end, if Esports is still going to survive, they don't have the right idea at this point. But eventually, RPC is going to take down Beck. And with that kind of knockout, definitely this team is actually going to be a bit more comfortable, a bit more chaotic. But the thing is that initially the fights were actually fluent, and right now, just because of quite a few, I guess, 1 or 2 players which are trying to be sneaky, which are trying to hold the game a bit longer, the game is getting stressed, and eventually the output is going to be same. There is going to be one particular team winning, the another one is going to lose. But before that, what happens? Look at that, a vehicle crash comes in. With that, I believe once again major might have been emitted. So altogether, somewhere around 6 points is what they're going to get credited, because one for their position, one for their frags, and eventually 5 for the position that they have actually got, which is a good thing. But here, after getting knocked out, I guess one good player has been traded off at this point. Let's talk about the other ones. And is actually on the back end, so obviously, I guess that revival is going to be somewhat more opportunistic for the team. Let's see what FUT is going to do in order to just compensate with this particular fight. It's a 2v2 scenario coming in. Both AR and FUT esports are actually on the same page, but look at FUT. This could be the highest fragging, highest grossing match in this particular phase 2, because if they are able to take down both ARs, I guess two good players, they are going to have the advantage at the end of 18 amazing kills and eventually 10 position points, which is going to give them the jump of 28 amazing points, which is not at all easy and not at all small.
I think surely, but I believe in the end circles, Team ARR, Team 40 Esports, this is going to be a pretty interesting and this is going to be a pretty tricky spot for them. Just to make sure that if they want to get up as the winner chicken dinner, they have to like at least have no mistakes at this point. The first blood has to come in their favor. They cannot just afford to go in and like fired up without any intel. Team 40 Esports rookie is indeed being the one who's trying to get as many intel as possible, but Tapu from the back lines. Now both the players of Team 40 Esports are spotted, and Team 40 Esports, all they know is only the position of Tapu. But with these vehicle rotation, this is now going to be a big advantage for them. Let's see how they now manage to try and get themselves in a good position to bring indeed like a pretty fruitful winner chicken dinner for them. But surely steadily, Team 40 Sports now bouncing up using those healers to their advantage, and the rotation now comes in from the back side of Team 40 Sports, and the flank from ARR I think could be a tremendous match. At this position could really be wonders if you ask me. Let's see if this is going to go. So far, I believe Team ARR, they have a good ground goal. They have a good game of intel, but it does comes down to these individual duels, which now both of the players have to take.
Yeah, I mean, 1v1s are something which is obviously going to be quite crucial, and while rotating, I guess RIP7's positioning is going to be a bit more revealed, and same goes for Rookie 999 as well. There's going to be a throwable coming to the play. I don't believe that the conditions will be there from this far away, but still, the DBS is in the hand. RIP7 is going to have the complete control of this particular fight. Obviously, it's going to be a bit more difficult for these guys, but look at Matrix and the other guys, but they're already trying to fall back, and this is again a very good strategy that they know they are lacking manpower at this point. That is why once again they're going to regroup at this kind of an open-ended one. Again, some space are going to come in, and FUT Esports finally finds one from AR Esports, and that's it. AR Esports is actually on the verge of destruction because amazing frags are coming in. 17 to be precise is already there for FUT Esports, and ARR's last man standing is actually on the edge, and he's going to be Matrix. He's also about to get spotted pretty soon. The sprays are coming in. The vehicle is actually not looking good. You can clearly see that the damage has been done to the vehicle, but the angle which he's trying to choose and which is trying to go ahead and rotate at, he's going to get spotted pretty soon. Oh yeah, the DPS is in hand. He's trying to actually go ahead and get the advantage. Oh yes, he does. It's a 1v1 for now. What a beautiful fight that was, man.
Oh, indeed. I think this was a pretty, interesting one. But now down to a 1v1, this couldn't have gotten exciting. Team 40 Sports, if they win a chicken dinner here, I think this could be the most points acquired in the entire Ruthless Europe invitation. The nades are coming out from both the sides, but Rookie will get the first point of advantage. Oh, that's not the case. It's going to be the other way around. But the DBS once again comes in. It's going to be Strix against the side of UMP. But the jump spray comes in, but the DBS will do the job. And it's going to be Team ARR who takes away the winner with a chicken dinner, celebrates in style, and it's only 70 kills with 6 points, totaling up to 23 points for the start of Team 40 Esports to be okay with it. But wow, what a game indeed of this third and the final time of a wrangle, which we got to see in the entire tournament so far. Teams really gave it the all in, and it was really something interesting to watch out for. But Team ARR, they took away the dreams for winner with a chicken dinner. Even after having total of 17 elimination, they too are going to add some good numbers indeed. And I think now slowly, steadily, I'd love to see our Team ARR Esports from here onwards are able to build their run. I think this is where they could really put 3 back-to-back winner chicken dinners just to make sure they want to come all the way up towards the top. The job isn't going to be easy, a 19-pointer for them, but countering that in the number one, I do feel that the team with acquiring most number of, I believe, kills and the most number of points indeed is going to be none other than Team Food. But let's see how it comes out to be, as the winner chicken dinner for the start of Team ARR puts them up in the 6th spot, a total of 1555 damage. Then we have Trix, who is the man of the entire team. 5 elimination, 895 damage and 4 knockouts, which is completely tremendous. I think also like got what, like 355 damage being taken, which is like, I believe again a big challenge. Becca coming up with like 201 damage being taken. And I think like if you take a look after the teams to watch out for, Team 40 Sports did a pretty wonderful job so far. Like a 7,476 distance, which they managed to travel. And then in the end, if you take a look after what the start of Team Ballistas, they had like 6,228 travel distance. Utility were just wonderful, and this is what you love. Team 40 Sports 16 grenades, 10. I'll say total smoke, and 0, I believe, Molotovs. I think Molotov were just being used from Ballistas and Team ERR 1-1. But yeah, I mean, like I believe with this situations going around, I believe things could really look pretty good when we take a look after the overall standing. Team none other than like Major Pride, they do eventually wanted to come in the final position, but they were only good for the top 5. Rep 7 is indeed going to be the one from the start of Team Foot with 8 total elimination, 1310 damage, which is just incredible. 2 assists for him as well. And I mean, with this, things could go real up and down when we will take a look after the overall MVP standings too.
Despite of this amazing performance, I'm still angry, or should I say still agitated at the fact that Team FUT is one of those teams which is not doing that amazing stuff of being consistent and also being on top at this point. Yes, FUT Esports unfortunately was unable to back out the chicken run. That is why they have the 23 points in their favor. Otherwise, it would have been I guess maybe 28 points to power. Again, a huge one to be precise. But yeah, on the other corner, we have secured 19 points with the chicken run in their favor, which is again a good thing. BESIKTAS on the other corner with 9 points, FLUX with 7, MADBULLS with 6 points, Pubg or Major Spider with 6 points as well, REGNUM CARYA with 4 points, the Protocol SBG they've got 2, same goes for, excuse me, has got 1, same goes for GAIMIN, GLADIATORS, and MELISE Esports have got just 0 points in their favor, so they were unable to be fruitful at this point. So yeah, those are the few things which are making a lot of mess in the mind at this point. But remember guys, 3 good matches of the day already been passed out. Second last and the last match are still left, but let's go over the match summary at this point. And every single guy at every single poster, it is FUT Esports RP7B, the highest knockout, the damage, the assist, and also the healing done to be precise, which is again a very good thing. And yeah, moving forward, I guess we'll talk over the overall ranking so that we can have an idea of what kind of jump is there and what kind of jump we do expect in the later stages. So yes, Major Sprite is still going to be on top with 153 points. That is now the buffer of 44 points between these two giants like MADBULLS and Major Sprite to be precise. Now moving forward on the hand side, we have REGNUM CARYA as well with 204 points, SBG with 98, with 96 points, AR Esports with 82, and FLUX Esports with 71, and FUT Esports what they have is just 63 points in their favor. So one more chicken dinner, they can easily reach out and make their way to the top 4-5 positions, to be honest. Although it's not that easy, but yes, they are doing everything that is there in their power.
I mean, 153 points, this could really be a big turnaround. I believe like total like 44 points of buffer. But taking a look after the next table, I think Team, like BESIKTAS Esports also had like a big game for them. They had a jump of a point. Team RUYA went down. Team NEXUS Esports also went down by 2. MELISE Europe also, are going to slip down from the top 8 positions, which they were really indeed, contending for. But I believe with that, it's just the third game. Now, there's going to be 2 more fun games, I think, for tonight. One of them being the map of none other than Miramar. I think Miramar is going to be real, like I'll say, opportunity for most of the teams to talk out or to watch out for. This could be one final time where they could really play with the mindset of positioning, where they could really play in a mindset to play the zone and then play for the picks. Which could be, which could come again once again interesting, because if you take a similar look of when comparing it with Erangel is where, like I'll say a lot of third, fourth parties comes inside the play. There's a lot of, like rotation clashes which you eventually have to suffer about, and you have to worry a lot about play zone. But in Miramar, there's a lot of cover for you. You can, just prone out to any sort of reach and you will get the nearest drip for you. So we'll take a look at that. I think Miramar is going to be the final, Miramar for the entire Ruthless Europe invitation. But before that, let's call off for a quick short break. We'll see you guys on the other side.
to Dynaground! Hello, my name is Owen and I'm your professional Dyna rider. Today I'll be teaching you how to ride a dinosaur and win that chicken dinner. Now, let's begin! Relax, don't be scared. That's the sound of the mighty T-Rex. Now, here's the first dinosaur encounter. I want you to meet my girl Vicky, my sweet little raptor. Look how cute she is.
Isn't she lovely?
Vicky or raptors, they're the most vicious and fastest beasts in the world. To ride a dinosaur, first you must build trust. They are carnivores. They eat meat. You have to feed them off. They will think that you are their friend, not food. Once they trust you, they will be a great companion. However, taming a dinosaur can be seen. Experience dinosaur taming and riding the all-new version of PUBG Mobile Dynaground. Explore Dyna Settlement and Wild Reserve and embark on a prehistoric adventure in the Battle Royale game. Come and play now.
Well, in the Ruthless Europe Invitationals, we are going to bid a farewell to the Wrangles because all the Wrangles are already done and dusted. Yes, we did have a major share of a Wrangle both in phase 1 and phase 2, but moving forward, now we are going to look into the last map of Miramar. So let's dive into the schedule once again so that we can have a clear idea of how it all started today. Initially, we had Major Spired with a beautiful comeback coming in with 18 points, I believe. Then FLUX Esports came in with 17 points, and after that, again a 19-pointer bomber from ARR's perspective in the map of Wrangle. So all the Wrangles are done and dusted, as I said on the caster deck, but now moving forward, we do have the map of Miramar. One last to be precise, and on the hindsight, just to change the flavor of the aggression, I believe we do have the Sanok to just sum up the deal. But yes, moving forward, let's dive into the predictions as well. Upcon, what's your prediction for the day?
I think it's the final Miramar. Let's give it up to Team FLUX. They have been the one with most number of wins. Let's hope that they actually come out to be victorious for one more time. It's going to be an interesting one. It's going to be a very difficult one. But I do believe that it could be a very, like I'll say, unexpected. But what's your call on that? It's the final Miramar. Whom would you be going with?
Final Miramar. So for me, it is going to be Major Spirit once again. Yeah. Major Pride is going to be the team that I really believe is going to take the chicken dinner. They already have the buffer, so I guess that is particularly one of those teams which can play with the free mind. There's a buffer of more than 40 plus points, which is obviously not going to be that easy to compensate with. So yeah, I guess at the end, it could be Major Pride. They are going to play freely for the perspective of just making their way into the game, or maybe just having some chicken and maybe some having some fun. I'm also not actually putting my stakes fully, to be honest, but yes, I had to predict, and eventually that was the name which came in my mind, all thanks to their performance. So I'm going to predict that particular team. But looking at the map, okay, this huge map of 8 by 8 kilometers, places like Los Angeles, La Venta are there right now, but look at the number of teams that we have right now. I guess we just have somewhere around 11 teams in the lobby, that's all. 11 teams, and maybe 40 plus players are going to be there, so that's a sad side to watch. But eventually FUT is there, FF is going to be there, that is FLUX Esports, REGNUM, CARYA, BESIKTAS Esports, MS is there, Gaming GLADIATORS is there, Major Spider is there, SBG, MADBULLS and AR are there. So it's good to see that every single team which is actually on top, and also the team which is at the bottom, is there in the lobby. But somewhere in the between, I guess there are 5 teams which have lost the track of this particular game. But moving forward, MADBULLS indeed is trying to approach the Puerto region. Major Spider is going to have the control of the Los Angeles, and eventually Gaming GLADIATORS is going to have the control of the Los Angeles southern parts. And if I talk about BESIKTAS Esports, pretty close to them is going to be there. FLUX Esports is also way too close. Is also trying to rotate towards the Varadhan Mar region if they get the vehicle. But other than that, yes, there is a major clash. I can't say the clashes, because yes, in the map we do see that the circles are overlapping each other. But the thing is, if you see the ground reality, there is going to be a difference of at least 100 meters between these two teams.
Surely, I think, oh my god, the circle is going to put such a big disadvantage to the entire team, I believe. But the nade is might land in perfectly, like in time. But how good gaming gladiators are now thinking in. I think so far they would really go in and will get those advantages. But let's see how the situations are now going to be, moving in slowly, steadily. I believe the entire game kind of looks like, in a favor of the team none other than ballistas, as they are indeed going on. But let's see, the shotguns are once again coming in up against those AKs. Oh, the shot lands both towards, I think, towards both sides. And with that, I think now, slowly, steadily, things might be in a pretty tough situation. If you are the sort of team giving gladiators over long range DBS, how illegal could that be? Slowly, steadily now, let's see how the situation now comes in for the side of Team Ballistas, because the shotguns indeed is going to take down the side of Peace, but with that the M249 comes in, and slowly, steadily the reinforcements have been called up as KU makes his way in towards this position. Nonetheless, Team Ballistas Esports still will be surviving with the numbers advantage, so taking down KU isn't supposed to be a big task, and yes, they do it and eliminate the side of Team GAIMIN Gladiators already.
Well, yeah, there we go. One of those amazing eliminations are coming in. BESIKTAS Esports is not letting not letting it go that easily. To be honest, this could be a third party coming in, but eventually before that, we do see that there is a beautiful formulation of the fights in the favor of BESIKTAS Esports. On the hindsight, is SBG and MELISE Esports trying to fight with each other. SBG on the other corner is trying to put up some pressure on Infinity, and Savian has been traded off. On the hindsight, we do see some more space coming into the play. So yeah, SBG off to a very decent start. Don't have that much utilities, but still they were able to get 2 finishes. But at this point, I would love to say that do not overcommit, because overcommitment is obviously going to cost you a lot. So that is why they should fall back. They should actually replace their utilities. But FF on the other corner, that is FLUX Esports, is also getting shattered by BESIKTAS Esports. Well, after taking down the whole of Gaming Gladiators, now it's the turn of FLUX Esports, which is actually on the crosshairs. Some more space will be there from Melis's perspective. BESIKTAS is going to completely shut down the Soul K guy, and BESIKTAS Esports comes up with a domination factor. Oh, again SP getting connected. That's kind of decent. Now, FLUX Esports is also trying to, I guess, revert the favor, or should I say, repay the favor, to be honest. And that is why they were able to take down, and Troy was able to take down the other guy with the beautiful, I guess, Win 94. At the same time, M16 to be precise was the gun that he was trying to use. But at the same time, we do see a machete pick coming into the play. I was not at all expecting this kind of thing happening. But Akashi is the guy with the machete trying to push forward, has got his Victor and some other players also who can heal up. But BESIKTAS Esports, Son HP and Zesty, these are the two players which are still surviving. And if I talk about WT Esports, Rookie 999 finds another one which is really fine, that he was not doing a mistake at this point. But yes, he is picking up the players at this point and trying to chase the game. Lutz find another one, that is going to be Son HP, who has been traded off, and he's in the mid road at this precise, to be very honest. And yeah, I don't think so he's going to survive.
Well, it's going to be a real tough spot, but the nade might really pull him back in a very tough situation. Oh, there comes a fight back from the side of ZZ, and ZZ is going to now come in. Will take down the first one of contact. He wants to fight up against the side of KG as well. M16 with the 4x. Oh, it's going to be a little pretty situation for him. Oh, the shots are not landing in. It's a big lifeline towards KG, if you ask me. But with that, Solness is also going to be the one who comes in towards a closing position. He just lands right up on the top of the reach. And Zeshi with the damage buggy wants to fall back at the scenario. Let's see if this could be a pretty doable one. A double barrel shotgun coming in from the side of Lewis. But how is he surviving? What? He gets taken down to CO's S12K from that range as he makes down, as he is closing things up. The team for esports, now only one single player remaining. Team BESIKTAS Esports, the journey for them in the map of Miramar is going to be done and dusted. And with that, it's just going to be down to 3 players remaining. Team Melisses, they instantaneously deny both the players of Team Ferd, and the one fun player having a Winchester and a Tommy. I mean, that is what you call an unfortunate loot, being like digested and like pretty unfortunate for them. But the fight at San Martin was always been between the side of Team SVG, and that's going to be them who will be taking the revenge for each and every time Team 40 Esports put them in a back position, and they will take down the final player. Team 40 Esports will be up at the 9th spot with no number of placement point, but next up is going to be Team Melisses, who are totally getting turned around from the side of none other than Team SBG.
Well, there you go. 7 teams, 27 players. I guess I was just I guess, hoping that this kind of connection will be coming in, because yes, we do see that the tournament is coming up to an end. This is the second last match, or should I say the last match of the map of Miramar, and we were expecting this kind of pick coming in. Unfortunately, we are getting that kind of aggression as well. Pretty close to the San Martin region, there were multiple clashes going on, and not just here. I guess there were some other places where the fights were coming in. Now, SBG definitely is actually in the crosshairs of MELISE esports, or should I say vice versa, because MELISE esports is also getting attacked. Oh, that trade fire was absolutely amazing. Now, Lewis finds one, is going to take another pair with this S686, but unfortunately the connections were not that easy. On the hindsight, we do see AR also trying to perform and trying to actually get some good points. Let's see how far will they be able to establish that connection. Now, MELISE esports, they definitely have some kind of decent points, but at #7 they're going to just get 1 position points, and all the other things are out of equation. Let's see what AR is going to do, because once again they're going to put up the pressure, and very close to them is going to be the SBG. Beyond the border is going to put up some good space. He wanted his level best to actually get the traction out of it. Now again, some more nades and some more hurdles are going to get thrown. This nade could have impacted. Yes, indeed, the impact is going to be there. But it's a 1v2 type of scenario where Rapog is going to get taken down. That was exactly what I was not expecting, but eventually, yeah, the knockout is coming in. 6 teams, 22 players, that's what we have right now. And Victor once again is going to cook up a nade. Look at Matrix. That beautiful flank of an angle will obviously help him to take down both Victor and the other guy. But what is that? Victor, again a 1v1. Not just that, 1v3 is going to come in. Victor, that beauty is absolutely on a rampage at this point. SBG, they are looking forward to have the angle of top 3 POIs in the favor, because REGNUM is there and MADBULLS is there, and along with them, Major Sprite is one of those teams which is kind of untouchable, to be honest. But ARR's Ace is going to be the last man standing. Let's see, will he be able to do the magical stuff? No, not at all. The magical stuff doesn't come in. Akashi now has to do it, and either he can go out for a revival or he can come up with a 1v1 at this point, but his positioning is pretty much revealed. That near is going to be a close one, and that's it. One more elimination has been done. We have a big loss coming into the lobby, and that is the elimination of SBG with I guess somewhere 9 points that they're going to get is obviously going to amplify their positioning. But Major Sprite is still there, MADBULLS are still there, so I guess top 2 teams are still surviving. Not just top 2 teams, top 3 teams are surviving, because along with these 2 teams we do have REGNUM CARYA as well, and also the top 4 team, that is going to be the ARR, which is also still surviving in the lobby. But yes, for ARR to reach into the particular play zone, they have to first of all heal himself, repass the buddies, and then eventually push forward in the particular circle. But Major Sprite, after 2 good finishes, they are still waiting for the right angle to just hunt down more and more players. And the thing is, Excuse Me is there, REGNUM CARYA is there, which are pretty much apprehended along with MADBULLS as well. So the hunger for those finishes are also going to be there from these 3 teams.
And what an interesting stuff, right? Like you have 4 teams with 4-man advantage, 1 team with just down to 3 players, but with most number of kills, okay? So like, like Team MADBULLS, Team REGNUM CARYA, Team Excuse Me will be struggling now because they can't get those kills, with not given those many number of, players being inside the lobby. At the same time, the knock comes in from the side of Perfect as he just takes down one of the player, and the kill might be confirmed. I think it was Team Excuse Me. So Excuse Me for a time, as it's going to be nonetheless a little disadvantage coming in towards the side of team like REGNUM CARYA. But so far, I believe, slowly, steadily, as the game goes on, the team who will be really having in the zone advantage once again stays in towards the side of none other than, like Major Pride. I believe they are really playing it smart here. Team Major Pride all the way towards the bottom line will get the entry towards Valdemar. Then you have Team Excuse Me firing up against the side of REGNUM CARYA, who already are in. And with given the big, like chunk of, I'll say, position which they have been given away, I think this could be a real big task to them. But now slowly steadily as the zone closes out, let's see how the eventual scenarios comes in, because Team REGNUM CARYA will find themselves in a tough spot. They have to fight back up against the side of Team Excuse Me with the numbers advantage. They already have tasted the full blood, like they already have gotten the first initial advantage, what they really needed to give a fight back. And with that, they might be coming in to take some more. Let's see how long does it take for the zone also goes against them, because within 50 seconds, I think the next circle is also going to come in. And as the circle slowly, steadily comes in, that's where the real challenge would begin. MADBULLS, meantime, takes down Tron, who was all the way towards the top lines. And this is where, like a team like I believe none other than Excuse Me is also going to realize that already Team REGNUM CARYA are initiating themselves in the fight. Maybe they could get some third-party advantages.
Well, yeah, the third parties could be coming in, but before that, REGNUM CARYA, what will they be able to do? That's the biggest question, because the player which was on the verge of getting knocked out is already healing himself. MADBULLS is also getting connected with the shot. What was that? Oh, I thought for a second that Sherry is going to get picked off, but he was able to trade the fire, and that DPS pick was absolutely amazing. With that, REGNUM CARYA is actually struggling at this point. But let's see, will there be a 3v3 type of scenario coming in? And how far they will be able to knock. That nade was absolutely on point. What a rampage that is coming in. And in a span of, I believe, somewhere around 2 to 3, 4, 5 seconds, I believe, REGNUM CARYA is completely done and dusted. At Fast Tech 5, they have been eliminated. That means just 3 position points. That's what they're going to get. So their stronghold of their third position is not going to be that easy. Major Spider on the other corner also gets attacked by some other teams. So yes, the losses are coming in. It is Excuse Me, which is punching down the players like Major Stride, and Monkison also gets ready off. It's FURIA who has been able to just take him down, and FURIA will be finishing off for sure. But the trade fire will be coming in, that's for sure. I really believe that the trade fire will be able to purposefully take down FURIA, and that if that happens, it will be amazing. And that's exactly what is going to happen. Dino picks the FURIA guy, and we have Quick, we have Beck. Both of them are still surviving. And still at this point, Major Sprite, after having 3 amazing eliminations, is still not that comfortable because they have lost 2 good players of the team. In order to secure a chicken dinner, they do have to have that manpower, they do have to have some angles. But I have already said this thing that at this point, Major Sprite is one of those teams which can fight back quite easily. They don't have to actually be worried because they're still leading the charge. They're still being on top at this point. Do whatever you want, shatter them whatever the way you want to actually. But then again, Major Sprite is going to be one of those teams which will still be laughing because again they are being in the top 3, top 4 to be precise. So they don't have any kind of loss at this point. Their 4 position points is already here. And when it comes to, I guess, some other things like maybe some good elimination point, that is also there. But Dino gets taken down and it's done. MADBULLS definitely comes up with domination. We do have, I guess, somewhere around 7 to 8 points from Major Sprite perspective in this particular matchup. So yeah, 7 points from the POI. And MADBULLS is now being aggressive, way too aggressive to be precise. They're hunting down the place. Bit by bit, the change is coming in. Bit by bit, the aggression is working out. And excuse me, last man standing is there at this point. MADBULLS could be the one which is going to secure the chicken dinner. And securing that chicken dinner is obviously going to help them nail that final second position in their favor. Because in order to reach out to the first position, I believe they have to come up with a massive 30-pointer chicken dinner. And along with that, another chicken dinner plus 20-25 points is going to be there. Then only error, or should I say, MADBULLS will be there on the first position. So yeah, taking on the first position is a very hefty demand to be precise.
Oh, I think surely. I think this could be a pretty interesting one. I believe slowly, steadily, as the scenario now looks like, Team MADBULLS, they're just playing in a pretty big, in a, like a convincing manner. Baker gets one, but the trade comes in, and that's going to be one final fight remaining before the Miramar is indeed going to be concluded. It's going to be Team, excuse me, going all the way up against the side of Team MADBULLS. Let's see where the situations are now going to look like. A team, excuse me, they have to pull off a big also, like advantage here in a 1 versus 4. I don't know if it's going to be, a pretty easy one for them or no, but hopefully they do manage to bring back some numbers, at least in terms of those elimination point. If it goes all the way towards a flawless winner chicken, then I think this could be a pretty interesting one. But let's wait and let's take a look after how the position now looks like. They're all the way in the bottom compound. Team MADBULLS, they have no intel. They've been an entire playground in the western zone to just trust for them, be alone, and just make sure that they don't even fall as a prey to this one player who is indeed playing a little ice cold strategically. With this passive positioning of him, I do believe that Team MADBULLS, after a certain given number of time, are gonna go in and run away in these positions where they do manage to find these searches. But let's see how these like slowly steadily, as the players, they're just getting white spotting up against each other, how the advantage would be taken away from the side of none other than Team Excuse Me.
Well, yeah, too many questions at this point, and eventually the answers will be given pretty soon. At this point, if we talk about MADBULLS, they definitely have the control. They've got 9 amazing kills, and if you talk about, excuse me, just one good player surviving at this point, and I believe his position is also going to get revealed soon. I really want to see this match getting wrapped up, and then eventually, I'm way too excited to see that Sanhok to be played. Because obviously in Sanhok, I guess once again 11 to 12 teams are going to join in. But then again, if Sanhok is there filled with just 11 or 12 teams, I believe then the contestant will be surreal. That kind of fight will absolutely be amazing. But yeah, one good player, where is he? That's the big question. MADBULLS is doing everything that is there in the capable corner to just find these players. But look at, excuse me, I mean, one good corner, that's what they have. And they're just waiting. They're just buying time at this point. If this guy purposefully knew that it's a 1v4, and eventually he would have came forward. But yeah, I guess he still have these speculations that there might be some snatchy teams which is going to snatch him the third position, or maybe his first position is going to get snatched away. But for now, it is MADBULLS with the strong control in the favor, and it is, excuse me, which is just hiding, and MADBULLS just trying to hunt him down. I don't know, will they be able to do it pretty soon, or eventually it is going to consume a lot of time?
Oh yeah, I mean it's been an interesting one, I believe. So slowly, steadily, as the distance is now closing in, I think Team Mad Bulls, they might really want in those 10th, kill. And with this one winner chicken dinner, I think there are many circumstances which could really look good for the side of, I believe, Mad Bulls, because they might come all the way top in the top 4 position. One more game, and as you mentioned about the numbers, it should be a pretty, like I'll say, a devastating one for them. But let's take a look out of the POV of Excuse Me, who is just one of the solo players remaining, and how Excuse Me is going to eventually manage to maybe bring up some numbers to him. See, I mean, so far, if he gets eliminated here, he gets like, what, 10 points? But if he gets some more kills, if he gets like, at least 1 or 2 more eliminations being added up to his table, things and numbers could go really a little up. But I mean, I hope that it does comes in do, because so far, Mad Bulls, once again, they have looted the airdrop, slowly, steadily going in for these, eventual climbing. And it's been a big struggle for them. You could feel how Team Mad Bulls would be feeling, one of those classic matches where you're just not sure that is it the last final player, is it a bot whom you have to kill? But somewhere down the line, you do realize that it could cost you the winner chicken dinner. So all 4 of the players are playing it carefully with the vehicles. Let's move on to the POV of, I'll say, I believe a team Excuse Me, and let's see where is he at. Okay, so he's still near the compounds, and he's still trying to make sure that eventually, no matter how the situation is, plays it a little slow, a little steadily, just to make sure that there's no one quite near to him at the same time. But with that, I believe the end circles are not going to be that up against the start of Team Mad Bulls. Both of the teams are going to get a pretty easy, I'll say task coming in. So motor vehicles just going up against the start of these Mirado. Pickup trunk being utilized from 2 of the players of Team Mad Bulls. Usually it's going to be K-Vic who is going to be all led by himself. So, I think this is one of the most stretchy type of 1v4 we would have ever seen, because in most of the circumstances, but you would expect from a solo player is that he makes up, gets out, gets the advantage, maybe go in a do or die situation. Now you're taking a look after what Vivek is going up with. What I believe is that they're really playing in a little slow. They do realize the fact that there might be more than 1 or 2 teams surviving, so that's why he wants to make sure that he gets more and more number of I'll say total points possible for his side. But let's see if that supposedly is the case or no. Nonetheless, Frozen is going to be one of those players with total 3 elimination which he brought to his team. The rest all the players contributing pretty equally if you talk about the numbers. 3 players with 2 more elimination, and it's going to be Frozen who did most of the heavy lifting. But I believe when we'll take a look after the post-match, eventual scorelines, that's when we will indeed come to know. But Mad Bulls, I mean, this was indeed a must-win match for them, and they did made it count. The count is really going to go on. But at the same time, Team Excuse Me, alright, so here we finally get to see the final player who has stretched this game all this long, and now, okay, so he's totally being anticipated with the smoke is at, I hope it came in from the side of Team Mad Bull, but now the drop down. Now is where Vivek is going to put in a real tough spot, but the DPS is what is really, making me worry a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, he's got one of those weapons which can actually change the trajectory of the game. So I would love to see how that is going to actually enroll at this point. But a good bet was Telecast there. And yeah, the last man standing is actually pretty close to these guys. The mollies and the utils are going to get thrown away, and eventually it was a close one. Oh, that nade can actually impact. With that nade, obviously the pressure could be falling in. And yes, 50% of the HP has not been depleted. Another bit of nade could actually end it. Yeah, MK14's utils are being utilized. Finally, the player gets spotted, and there we go. It's a 1v1 coming into the play. Was able to take one down. He's going to heal himself. Yeah, first of all, he's trying his level best to go ahead and heal himself, but the information is already going to get converted. Yeah. Oh, a 1v2. Wow, that's impressive. I mean, he's still able to, I guess, shut down quite a few perspectives at this point. But yes, another need, another throwable is going to get used up. That was a close need. Is it enough? Oh, another throwable, another spray. A 1v2 with the DBS. This is actually looking like one of those matches which can be out of the equation for Mad Bulls. If they lose this one, this would be a very shameful loss, to be honest. But yeah, let's see what happens. Okay, trying to come up with a nade, trying to come up with a molly, but S12K finds its connection. Mad Bulls will be moving home with 20 points altogether in this particular matchup, which is again going to secure their firm location at the second position in the leaderboard.
I mean, tremendous job done, I believe, from the final player. I mean, almost, I think, I'd love to see how many kills also did he manage to confirm right there, because there was a pretty fair amount of time which he was really, left like hoping for. But oh, it's a second spot. Alright, so I did believe it should be a top 4 position, but this comes up to be the top 2 spot, which does mean that Team MADBULLS is yet going to be the one entering the triple digit club. This is not just going to be them. They do have some big challenges right next to them, but this was indeed much needed. I believe, with a total of 20 points in this game itself, this is going to be a pretty interesting one as to how this game is now going to continue. Nonetheless, 1228 damage means you can see the damage is also pretty much of an average. And it is going to be Zerishe who comes out with 3 total knockouts, 2 eliminations, and 341 total damage. Nonetheless, if you talk a look after the last elimination, it is none other than Frozen, the ice cold Frozen, doing most of the heavy liftings.
Yeah, man, what a performance indeed from MADBULLS' perspective. Frozen definitely was the one of those players which was able to get the heavy lifting done when it comes to this elimination. But look at the damage, that is just 270. But that clearly showcases that he was able to steal quite a few finishes. But at the end, if you are able to survive, if you are able to get the output, if you are able to get the kills, I guess it is more than enough. But yes, moving onwards to the teams to watch, MADBULLS definitely was able to travel a lot. Excuse me, only the corner for 6.75 kilometers they traveled, and eventually the utils was not that much. Every single team was not able to use that many utilities because nobody was fighting with that passion. Everybody, whenever they came in the fight, it was a clear sheer power of the nades, and also the 1v1s with the guns were coming in rather than coming with some soaks and trying to rotate with that and stuff like that. Yeah, moving forward, ARR definitely had the tough time as well. But yeah, these were the 4 teams to watch. Moving forward, let's talk about more and more details. I guess we are going to get the MVP of the match, the MVP rankings and stuff like that. So yes, that is going to be one more amazing thing to talk about. But moving forward, I guess the pressure that is there in this particular team's perspective is absolutely amazing. All in all, Excuse Me Quick is going to become the match MVP with 4 amazing eliminations, 730 damage and 2 throwables being used. 1 assist is also there at the end. We definitely see a very strong contender at this point in the lobby.
Oh, surely, man. I think this player, the way he handles his 1 versus 4 scenarios, yet, remains unbeaten, I believe. And slowly, steadily, as things now might come close to an end, it all comes down to this one final game of the Ruthless Europe Invitation. And that's where Shanok is going to be a pretty exciting one. I believe I won't be surprised if you go all the way towards
Unfortunately, that map is not going to happen. Yeah, just 4 matches for the day. So guys, excitement was there, but eventually this is the last match that we were going to talk about. This is the only match that was left today after the 3 matches happened. So yeah, Sanok is not going to be there in the pictures. 4 matches for the last day, and eventually we will get our top 3 teams pretty soon. In the match ranking, we can clearly see MADBULLS is going to come up with 20 points in the favor, Excuse Me with 12, SBG with 9, AR with 9 points as well. If we talk about Major Strike, they have 7, BESIKTAS with 6 points, FLUX Esports with 4, MS with 3, same goes for REGNUM CARYA, and eventually Gaming Gladiators gets 1. FUT Esports is stuck with 0 points in this particular matchup. Remember guys, this team was very aggressive in the map of Erangel, which was, I believe, the match for the day. They were able to get 17, 18 frags, and in this particular matchup, look at them, went out way too early. I guess they had some eager work to do. And on the hindsight, if we talk about highest elimination, that is going to be in the hands of Quick, and also the highest knockout comes in the hand along with the highest damage. If we talk about the highest assist, that is from BESIKTAS Esports is Enjoy, and highest saving dull is done by Flyki from this particular team known as MADBULLS.
I think surely, but I mean, that really concludes the entire tournament so far. MVP is indeed going to be none other than Nomi Major Prime. This one player is indeed going to be just a tremendous play out of everyone there. 7,000 damage being done. It's a complete, amazing stuff to watch out for. 30 total elimination, which means that every other round he had at least 2 kills for himself, which indeed says so much about this player. But at the same time, let's take a look after how the other scenes are indeed going to look like. The MVP, as he is him, he wins another one of those $100 in his bag. But just look after the number, 30 elimination for him, 7,000 of total damage. And what is in the second position is just 5,980 with 13 elimination, then you have 24 elimination for the start of perfect. But then again, your average survival time is what really matters, and having 18 minutes of survival time itself says that this is such, a big impact which these players were eventually, able to make up with. But yeah, I mean, you have some promising names here from the start of team REGNUM. CARYA also, I think we saw some pretty good, I'll say, players, which was none other than Loxy 10. Then you had Tron being one of those tremendous players, always outplaying. We even had that 1 vs 4 king from the start of team NEXUS. RUYA is currently not in the list, but Frozen definitely, deserves that mention. But the overall fraggle list is going to be Nomi, Victor, Wallow, Prefect, and Furia. And the average survival time indeed is, somewhat a real narrowed down for the start of Wallow. Given the fact that in every 2 vs 1 scenario, he might be the one who would be surviving. In most of the cases, whenever, out of 5 games, he was always the one who would be down to only 2 games of advantage. Because in most of the time, we did saw the team major, teams like SBG were getting a drop clash, not just in 1, not just in 2, but almost in each and every game. But with that 160 total point for Team Major Pride, they are the champions.
3rd and 4th position, look at that.
Wow.
107 points, both of them, but eventually, guys, whenever there is a tie, the fact is you consider the chicken dinner first of all, and then eventually the placement points, and then eventually the kills. So yes, we can clearly see SBG had 1 chicken dinner, and I believe the curse of REGNUM CARYA of not even getting a single chicken dinner is actually going to be the one thing which is going to push them out of the top 3 teams. Remember, guys, in the phase number 1 as well, the REGNUM CARYA went ahead and secured a 15-pointer bomber in the last match. So unfortunately, today Sanok is not going to happen, which was the last match. So I guess REGNUM CARYA had all the possibilities depending on that particular matchup, but yeah, it's done. 107 points for them as well. And we are going to talk about the second page where BESIKTAS Esports definitely had the jump of just 1 position, and there is not a lot of difference. A position of just a difference of just 1 point between BESIKTAS and MELISE Esports. On the other corner, we saw a lot of matches being missed by RUYA, by OZAROX Esports, by NEXUS Gaming, and even BRA Esports. Look at them. BRA Esports, after 6 matches, not there in the lobby. So I guess these are the few teams which lost a lot of competition in the lobby. But at the end, these are the world ranking post match 14. And it's done. The competition is pretty much over, guys. Ruthless Europe Invitational was a very beautiful journey. To talk about, to be precise, I absolutely enjoyed, and I really hope that all of you guys who are watching the stream from 1st June to the 7th June, that is today, absolutely enjoyed the day. Yes, we indeed had the break on the 4th. But other than that, I believe the competition was absolutely lovely from the start till the end. There were a lot of ups and downs coming into the fights, and a consistent plays were also coming in from both majors by REGNUM CARYA. Teams like AR were also quite consistent. We have quite a few names which have made their way in our hearts, but then again, quite a few teams which have to maybe evolve a bit, like Gaming Gladiators, like possibly MELISE Esports as well. No doubt, MELISE Esports is a very big name in their own territory, but I don't know why their performance was not coming in this particular IP, because yes, the competition was surreal, no doubt in that. Moving forward, yes, the predictions are done and everything is pretty much over. 3-1 is actually the score between us as well. And yeah, guys, all over. The whole tournament is done and dusted. Anything to add on, Afghan? Anything to actually end before the end, to be precise? Anything to add on?
Oh, I think it was a tremendous, I'll say tournament so far. What Team EME has shown is a potential of what on the back of your util and on the back of just one star player in your team, how really, you could really form yourself up. But it's not just that you have one team which is the best. There are so many teams which are best in what they do. First phase, Team REGNUM CARYA, Team SBG performed the best. In the second phase, SBG, still after the second day, we saw them almost in those top line position, which once again, was like a real and interesting deal to watch out for. But then, in the end, it happens to go all the way towards the start of Major Pride. Like so many names, so many region out of EME, out of Turkish, out of France. But, I think that this is indeed going to be one of the region which has really it's like full of surprises if you ask me. But at the same time, it's so far we got 2 of our winners out of phase 1. It's Team REGNUM CARYA, 165 points in 15 games. Then it's going to be none other than Team, I believe, very own Major's Pride, who comes up with 160 games. I believe these are some numbers which is definitely, be written down in the record books wherever we get back towards the EMEA region. But yeah, I mean, that's it from our side as well.
Alright, guys, so we are going to take a quick short leave. After the next IP comes in, we'll be back. So until then, guys, peace out. Thank you for joining us. And this is RUTHLESS IP Sports signing off once again. Bye-bye. Enjoy the day.